I'm Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
And I'm John.
And this is Comicsplaining.
The show where we're so gay we got lost on the way to Pride.
We did. That's true.
We got lost twice, but one of them was your fault.
That's true.
Sadly, I was not there for this, so I can't confirm or deny the lostness of these two, or who is responsible for what.
I don't know if we were really lost so much as we were trapped.
Yeah, we were in a hard-to-access place. So this is only gonna be something that anyone can follow if they're from fucking Detroit, which I think is no one. But Detroit is weird. I mean, every city's kind of weird. They got their weird stories, but Detroit is fucking weird.
Detroit's extra weird.
So there's this freeway that runs into downtown Detroit, and if you follow it, it becomes a road, but then it becomes a freeway again.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take it becomes a freeway again underneath a building.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take the exit, you can end up at the Joe Louis Arena parking garage.
The Joe Louis Arena is not there anymore.
Yeah,
but
the
the
Joe
parking
Louis
garage
Arena
is
gone. The parking garage is there. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, if I recall, the Joe Louis Arena was hooked up to the Kobo, so I can just park in this parking garage here since I am struggling to find the other one.
And the Kobo is the civic center that's by where
Right.
Pride happens.
Right, so I'll just do that, and we'll head through the Kobo, and that'll work. So we walk through this big-ass brutalist parking structure-looking motherfucker thing. Kind of cool looking, actually, for brutalism, but, like, that's just me.
Yeah.
And we go down, and we see there's a fence, and there is an entrance to the back rooms.
Yeah.
So we couldn't get past the fence, so the back rooms it was. And there's no way out of the back rooms, turns out, except the way you came in.
Oh, she was at the parade today.
Yeah, Big Gretch. We got to see Big Gretch up and close
sad.
in person.
I heard she was there.
She was.
I'm sorry.
I was like 2 feet from Big Gretch.
She established Michigan's first LGBTQ plus commission with an executive order.
But yeah, we went into this parking structure underneath the Kobo, which had no exits
Yeah.
besides where we came in.
It was entirely fenced off, except there was
Completely.
a car down there.
There was a car down there.
And
So
there's
Ask the question of, what is that car doing there?
I don't know.
and everything else was badge access, so we had to backtrack and then walk all over the damn city, and then eventually we did get to Pride, though it had already started.
Yeah, we got there a little bit late.
Yeah. The Delta were still there with the carts. They weren't playing it up quite as much this year, but they
Yeah.
were there.
You monster!
We need more keyboards.
Yeah, we need 3 keyboards to match our 3 mice.
Well, the cat broke the fucking keyboard.
That's
so.
true, she did.
Oh my god.
Well, she just broke the foot off of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was our fun adventure in downtown Detroit. It actually wasn't that bad. I kind of enjoyed it. We got to see some, like, cool brutalist architecture. And
The back rooms were pretty cool.
The back rooms were pretty cool. The weather was not too bad. It was, like, 60-some degrees, so it wasn't bad.
We have rain now.
We do have rain. It's raining very hard.
It's fucking cold.
Apparently, this is actually terrible weather in other parts of the country.
This seems normal to me.
This isn't too bad.
Did
It's
say
a little
other.
cold.
I said other
Other
parts of the
parts,
country.
right.
Like they're getting potentially devastated by tornadoes or some such.
I see.
We're just getting hit by a rain we needed desperately.
I see. I misunderstood what you were saying. I get it.
They're getting that El Nino. We're just, like, saying hi to Jose, I guess.
Hey, there's
I
plenty of
think we're
Jose's
gonna-
around
There are
here.
plenty
We're
of
gonna
Jose's.
get-
We have fucking Mexican town.
Hell yeah, Mexican Town's got great fucking Mexican food, too. Well, obviously. But
Obviously.
I would hope.
Mm.
I would be worried if it didn't.
There's one of those places down there you go, and they make the tortilla chips next door, so they're, like,
Ooh.
so fresh.
So, like,
God, I don't know what holiday I was down there for, but I was down there for something, and it was an event.
Nice. I've never been to... God damn, Chai.
The cat is so loud.
Chai is losing her mind.
as she always does
But yeah, I
when
was
we
down.
record.
But I was
Well-
down in Mexican Town for something, God knows what. But there was so much food, and it was so lively.
Well, we should also mention that Across the Spider-Verse came out.
Oh yeah,
we did go see it. We are, I'm assuming, going to talk about it in this
Yeah.
episode.
I think at this point we can just say length is no issue.
Yeah, no.
Fuck it.
I mean, we're going on YouTube. Length really is no issue.
Yeah.
I did watch an hour's long PowerPoint about the United States trying to get into long-range missiles and rockets and guns and things. So yeah, length isn't an issue.
Length isn't an issue.
You
An
can find
hour
an
isn't
entire
even...
Harvard computer science course on YouTube.
Oh, I'm not
An
shocked.
hour isn't even that long compared to some shit I've watched.
Yeah.
How long is the Control-Delete video by H-Bomb? Like 3 hours?
Oh, I can do you one better.
I could do you better. The fucking...
The Chris Chan documentary.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say the, 11 hours of Victorious.
No, I got you beat with Gino Samuel's definitive Chris Chan documentary.
Yeah.
How long is that?
Oh, last I checked it was at 60 plus hours. Now I think there's at least 10 more episodes.
Oh my god.
This is on one unhinged person.
Chris Chan is the most documented person on the internet.
You're not wrong. And there's so much, you laugh and then you hear something new and sometimes it's
horrifying or
yes.
completely baffling.
Yes, but it's usually not utterly horrifying.
It's the horse in the hospital joke, man.
That horse has been in the hospital for so fucking long.
It's a different horse now.
Sometimes you hear the clopping, and it's just Chris Chan posting My Little Pony fan art.
So, we're gonna talk about Across the Spider-Verse. I don't know if we're gonna do it in the middle or at the end.
Let's say the end, because that's what we usually do.
Okay, that's fair enough.
When we're burnt out and fried. Hell yeah!
But, before we get into there, yeah, that's gonna be a long time from now. We're just gonna be fucking exhausted, our voices are gonna be gone, we're gonna be like, I don't know, it was a good movie, whatever.
I want to see it again.
Yeah.
In theaters.
I
Damn
have more bracelets. More gay bracelets.
I've been trying to talk my roommate into going with me. I'll pay. Fuck.
Before we do that, though, we gotta read some comics.
Okay.
Gasp. Read comics. What is this thing you speak of?
It's what we do, technically.
We read comics?
If you would believe it.
I thought we talked about Chris Chan.
Yes, I thought this was a Chris Chan podcast.
Exclusively Chris Chan podcast.
There's so much to work with.
So, in light of our Chris Chan podcast, would you guys tell me what happened last time with Thor?
A whole bunch of random shit. So we started at Tom Fagan's Halloween party where
Oh,
Glynis immediately got lost.
Yeah.
Yep. Glynis got captured immediately.
Yep.
Which apparently is her thing.
Yeah, that's because Loki was actually just stealing all the party goers to go watch Carl and Thor fight.
Yep. Just to be an audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loki
Not for any other reason.
Loki wanted an audience and made an audience.
So eventually, Carl, I don't remember what the fuck Carl had.
He melted
he got
into
turned
water.
into water. Yeah, Carl got turned into water.
And died forever.
And then Loki and Thor fought, and then Loki got blinded and stumbled off a cliff.
Yeah,
and,
basically.
Thor felt terrible.
Yep. And
what happened else?
Glynis did eventually show up again.
Other things happened.
Yeah, second one. Oh, also, Carnilla was like, yeah, alright, I'll help your mans.
And
then
Sif,
made off with Sif.
Yeah, so Sif made a deal with Carnilla.
So they gotta go find Baldur.
Yes.
Right, because Baldur has managed to go missing, and he's been missing for a while, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what happened in the second one. I remember what happened in the third one. Give me a tip-off for issue 2.
Four-dimensional man.
Oh, the four-dimensional man. So it turns out Thor's landlord is
an extra-dimensional being.
Yeah, a Venusian or whatever the fuck his deal was.
So Mal was right. Kill all the
Mercurian,
landlords.
that's what it was. Yeah, and then they fought, and then Carl Sagan or whatever the fuck, Carl Sargon. Carl Sagan.
He doesn't deserve that.
No, he doesn't deserve it.
He was too good.
He's just collateral damage, motherfucker.
No.
So And then he beat him, and then he was like, my entire planet's gonna die! And then he went away. And then...
Wait, very important. How did Thor defeat him?
Oh, he, melted metal on top of him.
And how did he know to do that?
He went to the fucking
library! He went to the library!
He left the fight to go to the fucking library.
Well, the Warriors 3 fought the
Warriors 3 fought him.
For half an hour.
That was such a strange story. No wonder I didn't remember it.
Speaking of libraries, so Thor touched down in Britain for reasons.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was hunting for Baldur?
He was stopping for a bite to eat.
But
at a pub.
Wasn't he
While he was looking
for Baldur, yes.
Yeah, so he touched down and accidentally awoke a sleeper agent.
Yeah, he woke, a century...
A 3,000-year-old sleeper agent.
As you do when you're Thor, apparently never going to London at all, ever.
Yeah.
So the Manchurian Candidate, this big guy called, I don't know, the Demon Druid, I think.
Nailed it.
He goes to Stonehenge and just, kind of thwomps everything that gets in his way.
Frankly, he just wants to go home. That's it.
And Thor's fighting with him, and then a cop goes to the library and is like, actually, just let him go, it's fine.
Yeah.
And they let him go, and it was fine.
And it was fine.
Yep.
The Bobby saved the day.
Yeah. The library!
The library saved the day. Twice.
Anyway, that's what happened last time on Thor.
That's true.
I know why I don't remember. I don't remember
they were all
them.
very unmemorable.
They're so random.
The first issue had some really good character moments.
It did. That one I kind of remembered,
But
the other two.
The second one was worthless. The third one was funny but bad.
Well.
Uh-oh.
Let's.
The way you say that makes me worry about what's coming up next.
No, it's fine. Let's read Thor number 210 from January of 1973. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
Woo! Written by Jerry Conway, penciled by John Buscema and Don Perlin, inked by Vince Colletta, colored by Glynis Wein, lettered by John Costanza, and cover art by Gil Kane. So first off, I have to give a warning for some anti-Asian racism in this issue.
Oh boy.
Specifically targeting Korean people.
Of course.
It's an art issue. There's nothing particularly bad in text, and when this happens, I generally try to avoid showing it in our clips because I don't want to upset anyone with those sorts of caricatures. So it's not going to be a big deal for you, the listener, but if you want to skip ahead 10 minutes, I understand. I need the keyboard closer to me.
No.
You do. What? John, you need to move your mouse over somewhere useful.
Yes, my mouse.
We have 3 mice now.
We have a 3-mouse setup.
Yeah.
3 mice, 1 keyboard.
And next we're going to have 3 keyboards.
Yeah, that'll fit.
Mm-hmm.
We just line them up.
Well, if they were smaller.
Perfectly.
60%, 3 60% would fit.
Yeah, just get rid of the number pads.
Yeah. You don't need number pad.
Get those,
insert home page.
butterfly expandable keyboards.
Yeah, the keyboards would be a little larger than this.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
I honestly think you could fit 3 of them as is. Barely.
So we're actually starting off with our old pals Ulik and Gyarados.
Ulik and Gyarados, yeah!
The Troll King and his champion, who are watching Thor in a scrying fire as he fights some people that we will see on the next page.
I'm glad that Jerry still remembered to keep Gyarados around.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, his stories haven't always been perfect, but he remembers.
He does remember
so much.
They are talking about Thor's hammer, because Jerry has, for some reason, decided that Gyarados made it.
What?
And I just don't know why.
What?
Mjolnir was pretty famously forged by dwarves, a pair of brothers actually, named Brock and Sindri, or Atri, depending on your translation, who were tricked into doing so by Loki. And the comics don't exactly adhere to this most of the time, or at all, generally.
Until they do later.
Until they do.
Brock has had a very storied career between his Pokemon.
Maybe that's why Gyarados is better.
Yeah.
But Jerry is the only one who decided it was trolls.
Then again, Brock's a rock-type trainer.
And maybe that's why Gyarados is better.
Jerry is the only one who decided it was trolls instead of dwarves, and, Besides being a strange choice when adapting the original myth, I do not understand why Gyarados would have done this, given that his people have been at war with Asgard for, ever. So why would he go out of his way to make a devastating weapon for his enemy?
Loki tricked Gyarados into doing it?
Maybe. I don't know. But this tangent has gone on long enough, so let's move on. For right now, accept that Gyarados made Mjolnir, and then when Jerry is gone, you can purge it from your brain.
Alright.
I mean, I already know, I've already read a thing where Loki convinced the dwarves and I read that, recently, so, because that's modern.
Anyway, Ulik is convinced that if Thor didn't have Mjolnir, he could have defeated the Thunder God in combat. He says they fought twice, and I think it's been more than that.
I do think it has.
Yeah, does it really matter how many times they actually fought?
I don't think so, but he's been destroyed every time, so I think he's just making up excuses, like a kid who keeps losing in Call of Duty.
Coping and seething.
Copium.
Guys, there's something wrong with my controller, I'm super serious.
Pure copium.
The trolls are having this discussion while they watch Thor fight a portion of the army belonging to communist North Korea.
Oh, fun!
Who are all colored highlighter yellow.
Man, I wish that we had... Jesus Christ, that's really bad.
Yeah, really
Holy
not loving your choices here, Glennis.
That's really bad.
Why is he fighting North Koreans anyway?
What the fuck was I got?
We'll get there.
Well, I mean, the communists did it.
The commies.
I went to Pride and became a commie,
But we know a communist. His name is Piotr. What next? Is Thor going to go find the X-Men and try to kill Piotr because he's a communist?
Do not do that. He is good boy.
Thor doesn't give a shit about commies.
Good.
I don't know. He did go down to try and solve the Vietnam War.
That's true. What were you just saying, Ripley? Ulik proposes to his king that they have to destroy the hammer, and after doing so, he will be able to beat Thor for surezies this time.
Yes,
Definitely.
Because it's definitely easy to destroy.
They walk through a tunnel into a big cavern where a bunch of other trolls are feeding huge chunks of metal into giant furnaces shaped like open mouths. Since we've decided that the trolls are blacksmiths, apparently, I can roll with this. These trolls actually get a lot of their DNA from dwarves, now that I'm thinking about it.
May have just transferred the entire story.
Maybe. Well, one of the guys carrying the raw ore bumps into Ulik, who's just walking around vacantly in this work area, and he has the gall to hit the guy who's just trying to do his job, like he wasn't the one being careless.
I mean, he wasn't hurt either.
I mean, it's a workplace it's potentially a workplace safety violation. But
yeah, somebody call OSHA on this goon.
I don't think that the worker is responsible for this.
No, I'm talking about Ulik.
Ulik, there need to be lines on this ground so everyone knows where they can be. Ulik is in a work area. This is honestly dangerous for Ulik.
And no one is wearing any safety equipment. What is going on here?
Give this bitch a helmet.
I don't know. This guy's boots might be PPE. You never know.
You never know.
I don't for a second think his boots are PPE. No. Look, boots. What boots?
That's a
Ulik
hand.
Has problems.
Yeah, but what are those?
Oh, Ulik.
What are those?
Feet.
No, that guy though, he's got his PPE
workman.
on.
Okay, I'll buy. Maybe the worker's wearing PPE.
This guy has a helmet.
But Ulik is not wearing PPE on a work site.
Ulik
that's
has
what I'm saying.
No business being here.
That's what I'm saying.
This is too dangerous.
Ulik is the problem.
Ulik's not the problem. The problem is Gyarados.
Oh shit, it's systemic.
And
Anyway,
most of these people are wearing what looks like construction gear for these people.
But also, Ulik throws that dude in the furnace.
Yo!
That's a murder!
Alright, we're not standing up for your issues anymore. Jesus Christ, these guys are really bad.
Really bad.
Shit.
You know what? The Trolls Local 405 is going to strike for this. You know that, right? They're going on strike.
Meanwhile, Thor continues to fight these people.
I hate this.
I try not to be the one who groans at everything, but that's really uncomfortable to look at.
I really do not appreciate your work on this page, Glennis.
Glennis, did you not have other colors?
She clearly does.
What the fuck, man?
Were you
not cool?
Were you given a deal for using less colors? What the hell?
Look, I know you try not to show this, but I think you do need to show at least an example of how fucking bad this is.
This is the 70s. They got better. They were getting better.
Well, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah. Their leader commands someone to bring out a bazooka, and the resulting explosion rains down rubble because they're in the mountains and there's just rocks everywhere. You know how it is with mountains.
Well, North Korea is very mountainous.
Yeah.
It's been one of the hardest places to invade in world history.
After shooting Thor with the rocket, the Korean army relaxes, confident that nobody could survive that. But wait, the rubble is shifting.
They don't know that, the U.S. military tests nuclear bombs by just, setting them off next to him.
The rubble is shifting, and then rises Thor with not a scratch on him.
God, not even his cape is fucked up.
Run for your lives! It's an unbeatable monster!
Yeah, I think it's time to get out of here, buddy.
Thor is bemused by this experience.
Oh, this dialogue.
Because he landed on this mountainside to look over the landscape and think his thoughts, but the local armed forces decided that he was a threat when he only wanted to look at some trees.
He entered their airspace without...
It's true. It's very true. That's what I was about to say. Okay, Thor, but I know you understand that humans have their own shit going on, and you definitely know about the complicated political climate.
You are
and what will happen when your 2% milk-looking ass randomly touches down in North Korea, of all places.
You are considered an American superhero.
North American.
You are based in New York City. You know this.
You have invaded the sovereign nation of North Korea.
He is an Avenger, and whether they're in with the UN or the US, I'm pretty sure North Korea's not happy about it.
Right. Well, Thor thinks about the recent events and his current quest to find both Balder and the Lady Sif. And as he does
he makes the DreamWorks face.
As he does so, he wraps himself up all cozy in his cape.
Thor, you are literally invading North Korea, and you're going to take a nap.
Stop! I'm having depression.
He drifts off to Sleepy Land. However, as he slumbers, the ground nearby cracks open. A whole shitload of trolls climb out and grab the God of Thunder before teleporting away.
He's still asleep.
Yeah. Well, last time when he touched down in England, it said that he had been searching for Balder for 10 days straight. So I'm not surprised.
I just want to go on record that it would have been really funny if the North Korean army had caught the trolls unaware and had started shooting at them.
They're picking up Thor, and then they highlighter yellow looking asses.
God.
Bazooka the trolls, killing most of them.
No one could ever survive this ad nauseum. We just repeat until there's no one left.
Deep beneath the ground of somewhere, I'm really not sure about the geography of where the trolls live. It's underground, but where?
Well, the trolls live under Korea.
Yeah, welcome to North Korea. Subterranean North Korea. Don't you know what's underneath Korea?
Trolls are. Under Asgard feels like a stretch because it's a floating city. It's got some ground under it, but not much. If we're talking other realms, it could be a lot of places.
I don't know. I think it's kind of funny if there are trolls living under Asgard.
It would be funny.
I think it would be funny if they just live under Korea for no reason.
If we're talking other realms, it could be a lot of places, like Jotunheim, Vanaheim, and Niflheim seem like good options. Maybe even Svartalfheim, or if we're sticking with basically making them dwarves, it could be either Nidavellir, or even Earth, for all we fucking know.
But we also know that we're not talking about the realms at all, because it doesn't look like Jerry knows.
Well, yeah, we haven't really explored into any of the other realms at this point. But there is some strong evidence later in this story that they are on Earth, or Midgard if you'd prefer, which begs the question of why they needed to fucking teleport.
Because they were afraid of the North Koreans. They knew they'd get destroyed if they went up against the North Korean might.
Well, regardless of where it is, they're underground now, and a long line of trolls is carrying Thor back to their base.
Meanwhile, North Korea's running fucking videos about how they've defeated the troll menace entirely. Showing videos of
So that's what North Korea's been up to all this time. They've been fighting off the trolls.
That explains so much.
Oh, geez, guys. I think he's waking up. What are we gonna do if he wakes up? If he wakes up, it's gonna be because of you, so shut the hell up. No, you shut up. No, you. Everybody shut up! If not word for word, this is essentially the conversation that happens.
That's a great paraphrasing.
As this goddamn clown car slowly trundles through the tunnels.
Did you need, 50 guys to pick up one Asgardian?
I don't know.
Technically, he weighs 600 pounds.
Yeah, but there's only, 4 of them holding him.
It's true.
I imagine they thought they were in for more of a fight than this.
Maybe because of all the whispering, or probably because of the leader yelling at everyone. Thor does in fact wake up. And immediately starts swinging.
Well.
I like this art choice of showing him from underneath like that. That's fun.
He's pretty pissed that they tried to abduct him, and then a voice calls from behind, causing him to turn just in time to catch a left hook.
Damn.
Right in the face. It throws him backward, and Ulik moves to pick up a gigantic boulder, throwing it at the prone god. The rest of the trolls are like, wow, great job, Ulik, you beat him forever. And Ulik is like, you guys are so fucking dumb if you think it, and then gets cut off by Mjolnir bouncing off his skull. Ulik goes down in a heap, and with his brain ping-ponging around in his skull, he challenges the Odinsons' honor. For surely it is not honorable to use a weapon against an unarmed foe.
Well, that's bold words from the man who tried to punch a man while his back was turned.
Ulik has used this exact tactic before. Thor, you must know where this is going. Please use your big boy brain for 2 seconds.
Jerry, So wait, Jerry's retrotting another story beat.
It's not shocking.
Yeah, at this point, it seems...
Comics. Comics have tropes.
I know, but at this point, I feel like Jerry is going to do literally everything Stan did, but different.
He does not think about it, instead tucking Mjolnir into his belt before happily engaging in fisticuffs.
Those sure are fisticuffs.
In another cavern some distance away, Gyarados watches this in his scrying fire. All is going according to Kekaku. But the elderly advisor, Muthos, cautions his king against trusting the overly ambitious Ulik.
Translator's note, Keikaku means plan.
He is hushed as the queen enters, and I'm actually decently pleased by how trolly she looks.
Yeah.
Superhero comics have a lot of sexual dimorphism issues, even with the human characters, and it would have been easy to just make this bitch another 2-inch wasted twig with orange skin. But she looks like a reasonable approximation of a feminine version of the trolls that we've seen.
Yeah. Especially the ones that aren't like the big warrior guys, like this fucking vizier-looking motherfucker.
I guess. There are some problems.
Would I like her to be more burly and hairy? Yes, but I'll take what I can get, and this is...
not bad.
Not terrible.
I do feel like we're brushing up against some other problems with that design.
Maybe. Muthos now also tries to warn the king about his own fucking wife, and Gyarados is like, alright dude, get the fuck out. Meanwhile, the fight between Ulik and Thor continues as several more trolls crouch on an escarpment above them.
Wait, why does Gyarados' vizier get a name?
It's a great fucking question.
What the fuck?
Gyarados cares enough about his vizier to know his name.
So what you're saying is, despite being a bad guy, he's a better boss.
No, just because he's a bad guy doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
Just because you're a bad guy.
Yes.
As
Zangief.
Russian hero Zangief, who is potentially another communist.
Our hero is being battered pretty hard, but he manages to give himself a moment to recover by bashing both of Ulik's ears. The two stumble apart and clutch at their respective hurts, while nearby a group brings in a huge slab of magnetized Uru. I'm not sure that Jerry knows how magnets work, because he seems to think that two things being the same material means they attract each other, or that Mjolnir wouldn't be pulled by an ordinary magnet, but because the magnet is made of Uru, it works.
I feel like if someone said to me that these two things are attracted to one another, that I would immediately think they were on some 1,000 years ago, some alchemy bullshit.
I mean, you could have just used magic. You didn't have to use magnets.
No, they're using magnets. The magic of magnets.
How do they work?
Anyway, I'm sure you know what happens next. Just as the battle is starting back up, the magnet starts to pull on Thor's hammer. He notices and starts to investigate, but with his attention elsewhere, he gets slugged in the back of the head. Again. As he falls, the hammer tears out of its holster and flies across the room to the Uru slab, which is then loaded on a cart and pulled across a bridge. The fight continues, with Ulik ripping a stalagmite out of the ground to use as a club. Thor cries foul, correctly identifying that the talk of honor earlier was a trick. No duh.
No shit, he started by cold cocking you.
I'm shocked that... what's his face?
Ulik.
I was about to call him Ulrich for some reason.
Ulik.
No. that Ulik has no... I'm shocked that Ulik has no honor.
Yeah, I know, right? He reaches for Mjolnir at his side, but gasp! It's gone.
Okay, so this has to be on Asgard, though.
Well, how many
Right?
seconds has it been?
We'll see. Ulik hurls the stalagmite at his distracted foe, but a voice warns the Thunder God just in time. Whose voice? Well, none other than Ula, the queen. She's taken aback, not sure why she cried out to save her people's mortal enemy. He thanks her courteously, just the same, before turning back to his advancing foe, suddenly realizing that without his hammer, he will revert to mortal form.
A woman in every port, huh?
Yep. I don't have anything to say about this, but I do want to point out this panel in the bottom right that has some of the worst perspective I've ever fucking
What
seen.
the
What?
fuck is that shit?
I think this is meant to be Ulik getting thrown aside by Thor's punch, but
No,
it just
no.
looks like he's fucking tiny out
Yes.
of nowhere.
I think he's been punched backwards so fast that,
He shrank.
that he looks smaller, but, like, that doesn't match up anything happening.
No.
I'm very confused.
You know, Ulik, if you were wearing some kind of PPE, you wouldn't have had the ear incident earlier.
The God of Thunder rushes out of the cavern and across the bridge, ducking into the next room just in time to watch the Uru slab, with Mjolnir still stuck to it, tip into a raging furnace.
No.
Rep.
The trolls rejoice in their victory, but Thor knocks them aside as he bum rushes across the room to plunge
Holy
headfirst
shit.
into the flames. Ulik enters just in time to see this, equal parts shock and joy as he announces his victory over the God of Thunder.
Ah.
I mean, you didn't, though.
No, Thor's
you didn't
over.
do shit.
It was his plan.
It was his plan, he tricked him. Finally, no one will oppose them as they take over Earth, and then Asgard itself.
Oh, come on. You've been hiding from the North Koreans for centuries. You actually think you can take on Earth if you can't even take Korea? Now, to be fair, many empires have died trying to take the north of Korea. You're not special, but you aren't going to take Earth if you can't do it.
So what would you guys rate this issue?
Stupid? 3? It's a comic?
Stupid out of 3.
Yeah. Stupid out of 5.
Yeah,
Sure, whatever value stupid gets.
3.
Okay.
agreed. Onward to Thor number 211.
Wait, we just saw Thor die. How can he be on the cover?
Which is from February of 1973. Written by Jerry Conway, penciled by John Buscema and Don Perlin. Inked by Vince Coletta. Colored by Petra Scatezzi. Letters by Artie Simek. And cover by John Buscema. So you may be surprised to know that the fire didn't kill Thor.
What?
I mean, I didn't think it was gonna.
What? You're telling me he
He's still
didn't...
a god man.
You're telling me he didn't die on a cliffhanger?
He's got a couple seconds left.
In fact, he doesn't seem all that bothered by it as he walks through the inferno to find Mjolnir. He's sweating buckets, but he has his cape wrapped around him, which is protecting him from burns, I guess?
That doesn't make sense unless it's wet.
I don't know.
It's magic.
Yeah, it might be a magic cape. We don't know.
True.
However, he is coming to the end of his 60 seconds, and it takes all his strength to pull the hammer off of the magnetized slab.
Wait, if it stops being...
It's in his hands, though.
Yeah, if it's in his hands, I think it should count whether it's stuck to something or not.
Also, can't he lift the magnetized slab? Can't he just beat a motherfucker with a magnetized slab?
I think he should.
I think you should, too.
But once free, he fights his way to the edge of the pit and begins a long climb. Yes, he is using his hammer to climb again.
It's been so long.
It's been a while, yeah.
I really don't think that would even work like that
No.
physically, but that's what he does.
Wait.
Didn't the furnace just have a big open mouth?
Yeah.
Just walk out.
Also,
Yeah.
also, Thor, can't you swing your hammer and fly?
Yeah.
Also, can't you just
I was
time
also-
travel out of this?
Time travel. I was also, when I was reading this, I was also wondering why he didn't just fucking fly away.
Or time travel, or...
Walk.
yeah,
Teleport.
yeah, teleport. It feels weird.
Well, he hoists himself out of the furnace at last, and for a moment he just lays there, recovering from his ordeal. A long moment where nothing happens, and finally he looks up to see that all the trolls have gone. The cavern is empty. Thor knows this is bad news, and so he decides to put all other concerns aside as he stumbles through the cave to retrieve his helmet. He is met, unexpectedly, by Ula, who asks him why she betrayed her husband and her people to save him. He has no answers for her. She informs him that Ulik used her betrayal and Thor's seeming defeat to take control of the army and march on the earth, pointing him towards the tunnel that will lead the Odinson to his enemy. In gratitude, he vows to not only save the earth, but also the lady's honor.
There's really no rear guard. Wow, these guys are idiots.
Yeah.
No wonder the North
I mean-
Koreans have been defeating them all this time.
They've never struck me as particularly clever.
No, they're not. I mean, this was the most clever thing that they've done so far.
We're gonna use a giant magnet and steal the hammer and then throw it into a fire.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a plan.
it is a plan. Ulik and his army are making swift work tunneling towards their target, which is, of course, New York City. They literally just dug their way here, which, as I said, seems to imply that the trolls just live on Earth.
Mhm.
Ulik also keeps talking about getting revenge for having to live underground while humans live on the surface, so I really feel like Jerry is mixing them up with, like, mole men or any other number of subterranean villains.
There's so many people that live under the ground. I imagine that it is quite the wild time if you
Yeah.
start digging down under New York City.
It's like layers, like they live on layers.
Oh,
Right.
God, imagine the zoning issues under New York.
The zoning issues. You mean the territorial fights?
Well, yes, but they're also zoned for territorial fights.
It begins with a quake, as first the pavement shifts, popping manholes into the air, and then swiftly buildings begin to crumble before the digging machine breaks free and the trolls stream out to commence their assaults.
To be fair, this is like the one thing that doesn't happen to New York, even with supervillains being a regular occurrence.
Earthquakes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, despite getting directions, Thor is quite lost. The trolls' tunnels are labyrinthine and beyond his understanding, and so he decides the only logical conclusion is to dig a fucking hole.
I mean, to be fair, he is somewhere in Korea, and he is trying to follow a tunnel to New York.
He raises his mallet and shoots out bolts of energy which blast aside the earth, creating a new path toward his destination.
Alright,
but if
beams.
they made a tunnel, why doesn't he just follow the tunnel?
Because there's like a whole bunch of branches.
There's like
Okay.
there's like 20 tunnels, and he can't figure out
Gotcha.
which one's the right one.
Gotcha.
Meanwhile, Gyarados comes to speak with his wife.
Maybe you should have done that sooner, my guy.
She attempts to assure him that she never intended to cause harm or create an opening for Ulik to usurp him, but his guards speak up against her, reminding their king how Muthos attempted to give warning earlier that day. Gyarados bats them both aside, declaring that he will speak with his wife alone,
Ooh.
and the two scamper off elsewhere. Gary sits heavily next to Ula, and the two embrace, sharing a moment of tenderness as they fear for the future.
Why the gas masks?
Back in New York, the police have mobilized against the invaders.
It's the NYPD.
The riot squad. They're using
Including-
it. Okay, it's from
including-
their weapons.
Yeah, it's the
Including-
NYPD. They're gassing the trolls.
Including several dudes in gas masks who shoot the trolls with tear gas. The tear gas doesn't really do anything but make Ulik mad, so then he throws a truck at them.
Well, then they just bust out the batons and they just keep saying, "Stop resisting!" while getting made into a fucking paste.
The cops and the trolls start shooting at each other.
Why do they have guns?
The trolls have troll guns.
Why do they have guns?
Dad, they made them. There are dramatic speeches on both sides.
What do they think they are, Kevins?
Only now is anyone bringing up calling the National Guard.
Or the Avengers?
Meanwhile, at Avengers Mansion, Jarvis bursts into the room to deliver news to the Warriors 3. At first, Fandral is disinterested.
Well, to be fair, the way Jarvis frames it,
Right.
I'm very interested in this article.
There's a bit of a difficulty.
Well, he's British.
And
he's extremely British.
Fandrel's reading Life. Why are you interfering with Life?
But
the Avengers aren't here for this?
But then Jarvis reminds him that they are enjoying the unconditional hospitality of the Avengers, who are currently not home. So the least they could do is get off their asses and prevent the destruction of the city. After Jarvis explains, the lads are more interested. And
maybe you should have led with trolls are invading.
Right, and they all go out to have some sport.
Oh god, that's horrible. Oh no.
They're Asgardians, man, I don't know what you want.
I know, but yikes.
At long last, Thor has broken through to the main tunnel leading to the invasion force. He's still not there yet, but he's close, I guess. And that's it for Thor. Anyway, somewhere else, Silas Grant and Tana Nile are watching the news. I kind of figured that they were also staying in Avengers Mansion, since they're both aliens.
Yeah.
Nah, they've gotten regular jobs, and they can pretend to be human enough.
If they had been, I think Jarvis would have let them know already. Regardless of where they are, they both decide to do something about it when they see the camera pan to Thor, just now climbing out of the hole in the street. They both head out to meet up with their companions, but not before Tana reverts to her Rigelian form.
Wait, isn't that guy just, basically a guy, though?
Yeah.
What is he gonna do against...
He's gonna throw hands.
Yeah.
Okay. See? This is how the North Koreans were able to keep the trolls down. If a regular guy can just fight them off...
Thor has met up with the army, and while outnumbered, he is far from outgunned. He cuts a swath through their ranks until he's spotted by Ulik, who is very surprised to see him. Before they start fighting, though, another troll takes a shot at the Thunder God with his troll gun.
Okay. That's
his gun that he has. The Warriors 3 round a corner just in time to see this, and in response, Hogan throws his mace at the gunman, which is always a ridiculous fucking move.
Now you don't have a mace, Hogan.
Just because Thor is always throwing Mjolnir around doesn't mean the rest of you also have to do that. Some weapons are not meant to be thrown.
Mjolnir can come back.
Right, exactly.
On the other hand, throwing a sword at someone is very funny.
It is very funny.
Throwing a mace? Also funny.
Well, the shot hit the building next to Thor, destabilizing it. As it begins to lean, the golden-haired Avenger attempts to brace it and push it back into place. There are people in this building, and I feel like instead of shooting the trolls, the cops may have been better served by, evacuating these people.
It's the NYPD, what do you want?
I don't know, man.
When all you have is a hammer, every problem becomes a nail.
And now they have tear gas, so...
Despite this being a great opportunity, Ulik does not attack right away. He stays back long enough for Fandel to rush over, declaring that Thor focus on righting the building while he and Hogan deal with the troll champion. They don't do very well, but then Tana arrives and starts shooting him with her stasis gun.
Sure.
It's not having the desired effect, serving only to slow Ulik down for the moment. Thankfully, this is enough time for Thor to push the building into a safer position.
But literally, what is Silas Grant doing here?
He's just here. He's moral support.
I guess.
And then Thor returns to the fight.
He's here to watch her back.
He starts absolutely pummeling Thor, just punching him over and over and over, until finally he falls.
Hey Ulik, Thor has kind of been going through some shit.
It's true.
Don't call yourself invincible. Thor knows someone who's invincible. You're not Hulk.
He needs therapy. And this is good. And this is serving
This
as
is close
therapy.
enough.
Look, he needs to go to one of those rooms where you can just break everything. And guess what, Ulik? You're one of the rooms where he can break everything.
The rest of the trolls see Ulik go down, and they're like, shit, he's our best guy, we gotta get out of here.
Oh, fuck, guys.
Oh, fuck. So they pick up the unconscious Ulik and retreat down the tunnel that they made. There's a little note here about Gyarados punishing Ulik for treason, so put a pin in that.
Not even to mention that, this is gonna be hard for him to bounce back from. This is a bad reputational blow.
I mean, he isn't
the guy who tried to take power, overextended them, and lost power. That's a bad look. They had to go back with their tails between their legs.
He's not just getting punished for treason. They dropped him in front of their king or whatever, and he punished him while he's unconscious.
Yeah, he didn't get a chance to defend himself.
Yeah,
Not that I think he would have.
They turned on him before Garroter said shit.
Yeah. So the day is saved, but the job is not yet finished. There's this giant hole in the road now.
There's always a hole in the road. Welcome to New York.
I think maybe Thor could leave that up to the city.
Yeah,
but
I think that would probably be better.
Also, if you try to fix it, it will not be up to code, and it's going to have to be redone.
But
that's going to make great work for the Union.
But he's concerned that the trolls could come back so long as it remains open. And I see his point, but they created the hole in the first place, so if they really wanted to, they could just make more holes.
Yeah, they'd just dig a hole like 6 feet over.
Right.
The bigger problem is there's now a hole from North Korea to New York City.
Well, he decides that what he's going to do is pick up an abandoned building and put it in the hole.
And then
Thor, then have Tana blast it with her gun to melt it.
Thor, no.
What?
No, Thor.
Man,
no.
what the fuck is the insurance agency gonna think of this one?
How does he know that there's no one in that building?
Yeah, our building was melted.
So there's no one in it. What about the people who lived there, Thor?
It's abandoned.
How do you know?
I don't know. How does he know?
The free-flowing aura of electrons that people give off.
I see. He also time traveled in between frames, so he checked.
Okay, got it.
He time traveled and teleported between frames. He used the free flow of electrons to feel.
Well, with that problem solved, forever, no problem, no issues, Fandral approaches his lord with news. During Thor's absence, Balder returned, but he has gone mad, as in generically crazy.
Of course. Are you sure it's not Loki?
It just happened.
So what would you guys rate that issue?
That was more fun, I guess.
It was. A little weird, but...
It's still a 3, though.
Yeah, still a 3.
No, 3.5, because troll politics.
Trollitics, if you will.
Trollitics. Are we going to get to see more Trollitics?
I don't know.
Sure fucking hope so.
It's the only thing saving this series right now. I'll live for that troll politics.
Dracula lives!
Dracula lives!
Oh god, we're in that era, aren't we?
Dracula's always been a thing, baby.
We are allowed to have the scary movie monsters!
Now we're gonna go to Thor number 212 from March of 1973. Written by Jerry Conway. Penciled by John Buscema and Don Perlin. Inked by Vince Colletta. Colored by Stan Goldberg. Lettered by Denise Wohl. And covered by Gil Kane.
The Secret of Cigar.
Yeah, this guy has a dumb name.
Yeah.
And for the sake of being listenable, I'm just going to say Sithgar.
But I'm gonna say Scar.
It's gonna sound terrible.
And we're gonna have the best ASMR podcast ever.
I can do that along with that thing that I do when I say the names of the creators.
And you talk like this, and we
I'm
talk calmly, like this is NPR.
This is written by Chris Claremont.
We're not doing that gag again. We already did a whole fucking episode with that.
That was so slow, man.
It was, yeah. Also, this cover is really spoilery, and I don't usually care about spoilers, but this is basically the whole plot summed up in one image.
Seems like we've spoiled a lot.
Yeah, so I guess we don't need to read this one. Thanks, Marvel.
I think we've spoiled a lot for the whole series here.
However, it does bring up that I need to add a warning on this issue for slavery.
Oh boy.
Thor needs to see Balder, and he needs to see him now!
This is not how you open doors!
It's so urgent that he ignores all his friends' warnings and rips the door off its fucking hinges.
Look, Thor has considered doors to be optional for a long time now.
This is not his house!
They're still optional. That doesn't make the doors any less, any more non-optional.
He's a prince. He's not used to having to clean up his own problems.
And doors are optional for him. They always have been.
Well, inside this room, we see Balder the Brave, abed and raving with madness. He speaks incoherently about demons and writhes in the sheets.
Oh, we are like classically mad here in this house.
Thor's quest is over now. But what answers does he have? His friends have none for him, saying only that Balder was like this when he arrived, and that they can discern only one thing from his ramblings. The word Asgard. By this limited information, they are all left to jump to a conclusion. The rest are hesitant to say it aloud, but Thor has no such reservations. It is possible that this was Odin's doing, as further punishment for their betrayal.
Odin would punish his favorite son?
The idea angers the Thunder God, who declares that his father will pay for such an act. He turns to Hildegard and informs her that someone must stay to guard Balder. But Hildy isn't having that bullshit just because she's the only woman.
Hildegard is bigger than Thor.
She is taller than Thor, yes.
That is wild.
I love her so much.
She's looking down at him like a child.
Instead, Volstagg volunteers for the duty, and so the rest are free to embark. Thor, Fandral, Hogun, Hildegard, Silas, and Tana will all return to Asgard to give Odin a piece of their mind.
Silas, why are you going to Asgard?
Great question.
These are his buds.
Yeah, but,
I mean, what else
He's
is
got
he
nothing
gonna
better
do?
to do.
True.
He doesn't have a boat anymore.
And he's not actually from this world.
These are his buddies. Might as well see what else there is to see, right? You can't go home.
Thor transports them across space to the Bifrost, which they are all perturbed to see empty. Heimdall is nowhere in sight, and the gates lie open. They proceed into the city and find it similarly abandoned, until a lizard-like creature pounces at Hildy from above. The Valkyrie seizes her assailant, swinging him by the tail, and Thor has only enough time to call out, "Wait, we could use it for information!" before she slams the reptile against a wall.
Whoops.
Quite unexpectedly, the creature begins to dissolve into
Oh.
a green foam before their eyes.
What?
Cool.
Thor laments that now they will never have answers, but a voice behind him cries out for retribution.
I think it's awesome that Hildegard can just smack this guy into a wall so hard he turns into foam.
I know, right? That's pretty fucking
It's
hot,
impressive.
honestly.
Displays of power are very attractive.
So now we have a whole bunch of lizard dudes, led by Sithgar.
Oh, wow. There's like a ton in the
Yeah, there's
background
a ton.
and barrel in only a tiny little detail.
Yeah, they do this a lot in this issue, and I think it's not a great choice. Like, I get they're trying to show that there's a lot of them, but I think there's too many.
Yeah.
There's too many, and they don't have the time
Again,
to
it's
drop.
the problem that we were having when we took that place to Archon's world.
Yeah.
Where it's like, there's too many of them for any of them to actually be effective. Like, this is just like when you're trying to get to where you're going at the fucking stadium to listen to a concert and you're just shoulder to shoulder, just kind of bumbling your way along.
Anyway, despite declaring that he's going to fight, instead Sithgar just listens patiently as Thor is like, "Who are you and where is my dad?" Sithgar is like, "You see, this is a misunderstanding. Come have some ale with us in your castle, and I will explain." And all the Asgardians are like, "You had me at ale."
They don't really care that much about Asgard. Okay.
So they care about Asgard, but, you know, they got shit to talk about. So they all sit down for a drink and snack, as Sithgar explains his situation. His people are from an ancient planet, where the dominant race descended from lizards rather than apes. Otherwise, they evolved pretty similarly, if a bit slowly. After 2 billion years, they were still on some medieval bullshit, and so hopelessly outclassed when their world was invaded by a starfaring race of giant ants.
Fun. What does this have to do with anything at all ever?
Well, we're getting there.
Ants.
Amen. They fought as well as they could, but they had swords, and the ant people had guns, so we could see what happened. The lizard folk were subdued and captured with the intent to be sold in intergalactic markets. And so Sithgar's people were slowly auctioned off as the rest squatted in the cells of the ant people's ship until the slavers flew past Asgard and got it into their heads to acquire some new wares.
And it worked?
Apparently, The Asgardians put up a good fight, being dauntless warriors, but they were outnumbered and eventually fell. I find this
just
unlikely,
run them over
frankly.
with these fucking horses.
This
just
is-
keep
I
walking.
really find this extremely unlikely, Jerry. I'm sorry.
No.
Hey, wait, Jerry.
No.
I don't buy it.
Jerry, my guy. You're telling me that these random space aliens...
We're able to conquer Asgard.
Yes, these villains
They beat
of the
gods.
week. What the hell? What is this?
Brack Funch indeed.
Yeah. As this occurred, Sithgar and his remaining people somehow escaped and hid in the now empty city until Thor and company arrived. This simply will not stand, declares Thor as he slams his hand on the table.
I don't know that I believe Sithgar's story.
I don't. I genuinely don't believe his story, but I bet it's true.
He might be mad at his papa, but he's not going to turn a blind eye to this ignominy.
No, I don't think it's true. I think it's using him or driving him off to also sell him as a slave.
Wouldn't that be
I
a better...
the cover.
Yeah.
Sithgar declares that they will come too, to get revenge on the ant people, and so they all pile onto an Asgardian longship and sail across the stars.
Why does Thor believe this story?
I don't know. He's been through a lot lately, also himbo.
moments.
Sithgar is amazed by the flagship, which is literally just a boat, because when Asgardian shit crosses over with space shit, there's always a degree of clashing.
I think it's cool.
It's
so
cool,
cool.
but
it's fucking cool.
It's really cool. I love the flying longships. I think they're awesome. But, like, Asgard is space adjacent, but they are also literal gods.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of aliens just do not know what to do with that.
And it's fun.
Sithgar directs them to their destination, and they touch down at an alien harbor before disembarking. The streets are shockingly empty, and Hogan is about to point out how much that feels like a trap, when they round a corner and witness a shocking sight. Odin in chains, at the center of a theater, being auctioned off to a crowd of less than enthused aliens.
This will not do.
The Asgardian posse, plus Tana and Silas, leap down into the pit with a cry of, "For Odin! For Asgard!"
I don't really think there's much of an Asgard at this point, guys.
Well, it's there. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, one perfectly
Asgard.
fine empty Asgard.
Asgard is not a place. It's a people.
A people who are currently being sold piecemeal.
Well, yeah, they're gonna rescue them. The assembled aliens draw their guns and charge in response, declaring that this will be an easy payday. But it clearly doesn't go their way, as they have no idea what they're in for. The Asgardians are more than holding their own without any apparent difficulty. Nearby, Sithgar and his lizard crew watch them eagerly. They will let the Asgardians do all the work for them. What better way to get vengeance on their former business partners, the ant people who mutinied and abandoned them in Asgard?
Wow.
So, yeah, called that.
That's not exactly what I thought was happening. But
Okay,
close.
okay, wait. So the part where they attacked Asgard and enslaved everyone, which is the biggest...
lizard people were also there.
The lizard people were also there, yeah.
Which is still utter horseshit.
It's, yeah, I don't buy it.
These guys don't seem tougher than, like, trolls.
Odin could have ended the world. Ended the universe. But no!
Some ants and lizards took him down, sure.
Yeah, I believe that, Jerry.
Silas and Tana are fighting back to back. These two have forged some kind of unlikely friendship, which I'm honestly here for.
Absolutely. It's honestly really cool, considering how weird it must be between them, given
also-
what happened in Silas's world.
Also, he has, like, a stick or something.
Fuck yeah.
So
So-
apparently a stick is more effective than all the weapons of Asgard.
I think it
Yeah.
might be a sword.
It kind of looks like a sword, but there's no crossguard.
Yeah, but it might just be a badly drawn sword.
Yeah, it could be.
Or maybe he's just beating him with a gun.
He doesn't know what a gun is.
What? He's from like the 1920s and before.
Yeah.
All the hits of the 1850s, 1860s, 1870s, 1880s,
Shut up.
and today!
Thor sweeps aside the enemy in droves, surging forward toward his father. Odin, whose eyes have been downcast the entire time, finally looks up, and slowly realization dawns on his face. He cries out for Thor to leave this place before he meets the same fate as the rest of his people. The Thunder God does not accept that, in fact, challenging such an uncharacteristic behavior.
Yeah, actually, that is uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
Is this the Odin who gave him his first sword, who taught him to be a man, who told him death before dishonor? He grabs the chains which bind the Allfather and tears them apart as if they were made of paper. Yet Odin can only feel grief for his son's actions. Thor is amazed by this Odin, a person he has never seen before.
He's been suffering from depression ever since he banished his son.
I know. It's so sad. If only there was something we could do about that.
It's so sad.
A man who truly seems broken. He is resolved to save him all the same, but as he urges his father to come home, he is stopped by the treacherous Sithgar. Wearied from fighting to get here, the posse is cornered by lizard folk on all sides. And next, disaster.
What the fuck is this story?
But not next this time.
Yeah, no. What would you guys rate that?
2.
Yeah.
2.5. I'll give it 2.5. No. Not 2.
This doesn't deserve more than 2.
No, it doesn't.
What is this story? Why
The art wasn't good.
We're demoting Asgardians to just random aliens who can be taken over by a passing slaver crew.
Baldur is just crazy, just randomly crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He broke because apparently he's not as strong as he thought. His people aren't as strong as he thought. But they're supposed to be the best there are. They're gods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this
warrior gods, even.
This was not good. This was bad.
Yeah, you've been trying to give Jerry a lot of credit that I don't think he's really earning at this point.
Again, I might point out that Jerry was responsible also for that Homestuck-ass comic we read.
Yes. Jerry, he's got some good ideas here and there, but overall, he's not impressed me so far.
Like, he started out with some really good ideas for me. But now I think he's starting to burn through his good ideas and get into his backlog of maybe not so good ideas.
Yeah. Well, we have quite a bit of Jerry to go still.
Oh boy.
So,
Jerry's not always bad. Jerry's alright sometimes.
he's okay sometimes. He's good on character work.
Yeah.
I don't have any experience with him, so I don't really know what to tell you.
Hey, just ride the wave.
Alright. Well, that's it for Thor.
Alright. Well, we've got a captive audience here in the middle bit before we start off with the X-Men.
And you are stuck here. There is no escape.
Yeah, there's no way you could just scroll along the timeline a little bit.
Nope.
No way.
Just gotta go through our stuff. You can find us over on social media. Maybe we'll put up on Instagram this video of us fucking lost in Detroit's underworld.
Oh my god, you made a video of it.
Very briefly.
Very short
briefly. So, maybe we'll put that up. We're on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Find us over there to get updates on, like, when stuff's coming out, when stuff's delayed. You know, updates on when we're lost and gay.
I was under the impression that was most times.
I'm usually pretty good at navigation, but I get twisted around in Detroit, man. Anyway, if you want to throw us a few bucks, throw us a few bucks over on coffee. We're Comicsplaining, right?
Yeah.
Probably. Hope so.
Rate and review. The best thing you can do for us, put a like down below. Give us a comment. Hit the bell button if you want to know when we're putting it out, because we are on that bi-weekly schedule now. If you're over on the podcast audio feed, probably time for you to know that you need to be over on YouTube, because this is the last episode we're putting up over here. In fact, it's actually surprising if you will actually hear this message, because this is only going to be live probably for like
A week.
Yeah, it might actually keep that part up if I think about it, because it does keep a certain amount up with your free account.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe we will keep uploading on the audio feed, but you're not going to have access to our back catalog.
Yeah, there is going to be a moment where we just run out of back catalog.
Yep.
I've heard far too many podcasters hit that point. Especially ones that have meteoric rises where it gets real easy for them to go over.
So before we get going, you want to tell me what happened last time with the X-Men?
Oh, God. John? Any ideas?
I want you to know, apparently I'm having a dinner with my parents, and I have no memory of this.
Oh.
So...
I have no memory of this place.
I can give you a hint. We'll read through the episode summary. In episode 105, Iron Fist speed bags his way.
Oh,
yes. Okay.
We had the
Power
deal
Man and Iron Fist. We read an issue of that.
Mm-hmm.
Which had the living monolith in it, where he committed insurance fraud.
Yes, the living monolith is committing insurance fraud, though he shouldn't be doing it like this. Like, there's better ways to do insurance fraud.
Yeah, and also did some bullshit to turn himself into the living monolith without kidnapping Alex.
Which, somehow...
And Power Man and Iron Fist were involved in the insurance fraud.
Yes, they were set up to be the patsies for the insurance fraud.
So they were trying to fix that. And then the X-Men, a couple of the X-Men, specifically Scott, Kurt, and Aurora, showed up. And were like... fuck the living monolith.
Scott was very explicitly, oh fuck my brother.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What did he do?
Right. So they ended up getting involved, and that situation kind of got just like solved.
Yeah.
In a pretty unspectacular way.
It got out of control, but it also got solved, and Power Man and Iron Fist just sort of beat up enough goons until they solved the problem.
Basically. So...
Until they beat up the right goons, and that somehow made the living monolith less powerful, and then the X-Men were able to beat him.
And then Iron Fist iron-fisted a...
Yes.
A pyramid.
A piece of...
A priceless Egyptian artifact.
Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
He did destroy a priceless Egyptian artifact that he had no right to destroy.
Yeah.
Especially considering who he is and the identity he's taken for himself. Mr. Fist, you are very problematic.
Alright, do you want to tell me what happened the next issue?
I'll think about it.
There was a next issue?
Okay.
I'll think about it if I want to.
Scott takes Colleen on a romantic date to the phone
Right, it
company.
was kind of a nothing burger.
Oh, that's why I don't remember
it was just like a lot of like setup, basically.
Scott needs to get the phones hooked back up at the mansion.
So he could call Moira.
Yes, because he needs to call Moira. I guess because of his autism, he just hasn't been able to call Moira. Never mind that he could go to the nearest payphone, and yes, he'd have to feed it quarters. But still, he could contact Moira. Come on. Come on, Scott. You have access to other phones.
No. It's the 70s.
No, it's the autism. It's the autism. He has to get it done first.
So he was hanging out with Colleen, and Colleen was like, "Ooh, here's a key to my apartment."
Yeah. She's inviting him over whenever he wants.
Whenever he wants. And meanwhile... Logan took Aurora to...
Harlem.
That's
right. To Harlem.
For some reason, my brain was supplying the Bronx, and I'm like, that's not right.
Logan was worried.
He was worried about her.
He was worried about her not having... Clearly, he doesn't know her that well.
Well, she went to look at her childhood home.
And it's in a much worse state than it used to be.
Yeah, it's a crack den.
And that's not a metaphor. It is an actual crack den.
Actual little crack den.
I'll have you know it was a heroin den.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, that's
so bad.
I'm sorry.
It's a smack den.
Apologies to all the heroin addicts in our listener base.
To be fair, if it was more recent, it might be a meth den.
It's sliding time scale.
Sliding time scale. Pick your drug. Pick your decade. It would have been a den of a drug.
The addicts who were like squatting in there tried to mug her,
which was a mistake.
And then Misty Knight and Luke Cage showed up
because she looked like a Russian heiress.
Yeah.
So she kind of stood out, you know?
She did kind of stand out, yes.
It's very distinctive.
Yeah.
So she was fine. And then...
I mean, she did... One of them almost got the drop on her, but only because she was a little emotionally compromised. Because, again, childhood home.
Yeah.
Luke fucked him up, so...
Yes.
And Luke saved her.
I mean,
and
Luke Cage is just that guy.
Jean is in Scotland.
Meanwhile...
Jean is in Scotland. She ran into Mastermind again.
Who is being a suave, debonair sort these days.
Yeah. And they're going back to Muir Island, finally. So we're going to find out what's going on with that.
Yeah, the guy with the boat has been missing for a while.
Yeah, he's fine.
Nobody really cares that much about him. They're more annoyed than concerned.
That's true.
Like, he's been missing for who knows how long, and it seems like they're just annoyed by it.
And then I think the last thing... No, Colossus was in the... That happened at the beginning. Colossus was in the danger room, and he was having performance anxiety again.
Yep.
And finally, someone has hired a new guy to deal with the X-Men.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that
that new
happened at the
guy-
end.
Yes.
Yep.
And
But in the danger room.
But in the danger room at the beginning, though, Colossus was in a hydraulic press, and he was having issues, and Logan basically forced him to deal with his issues by
or die.
Or die by destroying the controls and climbing in with him.
Now, to be fair, Logan did it really smoothly. He
did.
took out the machine
Without Scott even noticing.
in front of him.
And then read Scott to filth.
Yes.
And then fucking Logan
Logan was great in that issue, actually.
We have seen Logan been done dirty.
Oh yeah, and also after he
not one of
dropped
those
off
moments.
Storm, he saw his waifu,
Yeah.
but was not able to talk to her.
But
full kimono as ever.
As always.
But like legit, with these stories, we've seen Logan done incredibly dirty.
We have.
Like the Alien-esque story where he's just skeeving
God,
on
I
Jean
hate
the whole
that.
time. So,
Well, speaking of skeeving, what happened in the next fucking issue? The Joker versus the Jinker.
Oh, right. Okay. So they were at a Halloween party.
yeah.
Speaking of done dirty.
They were
my
all
brain on this one.
written very badly.
Ooh.
And they had the bright idea to get into costume and go separately, so none of them knew who each other was.
Look, the fact is, when we run into a really bad one, my brain just erases it from its memory because it's considered unnecessary information.
But the host of the party was like, hey, my friend's abusive ex is gonna be here and try to murder her, so maybe could you stop that from happening? And Kurt was like, yeah, cool. Anyway, I don't know any of my friends at all, apparently.
Well,
or what they look like or act like.
I mean, upside, the host said ACAB, apparently. Because, could have called the cops. They didn't.
So Kurt kind of bumbled around for a little bit, and Scott was making out with a lady that was Jean, but he didn't know it was Jean.
Yeah, he cheated on Jean with Jean.
He cheated on
Which
Jean
is
with
a
Jean.
very Scott thing to do.
I mean, he was in a jester's outfit, so living up to.
Which is a very Scott thing to do. He is the clown who manages to cheat on Jean with Jean.
So the guy showed up and he stabbed someone that he thought was his wife, but it was a dummy the whole time, and his wife was still alive. And then he tried to take another girl hostage, but they saved her, and then he tried to leave, but then Logan was a pile of laundry.
Mm-hmm.
and,
Logan...
and they got him, and it was fine.
Apparently, he must have been laying in a corner somewhere the whole time.
No, he was actually in the background,
Yeah,
I saw him.
You did see him. He was
Oh my god.
around.
He was just around.
They were all about, you also saw Colossus.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, we're now accepting passengers for X-Men 123 from April of 1979, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Byrne, inks by Terry Austin, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski.
Gee, hopefully Glynis didn't color anyone yellow in this issue.
Glynis, have you learned anything over the years?
Sure fucking hope so. It's also now time for the announcement that the classic X-Men version won't have any additional cover content on the A stories from this point on, so we're still going to be hitting that on the B stories, but No back and forth.
Good.
So we've got ourselves kind of a Spider-Verse tie-in going on here.
Spider-Man.
We start our story off with Peter Parker having himself a very Peter Parker problem. He's fucking broke and kind of pouting about it because he wanted to take his girl, Sissy Ironwood, on a nice date.
Sissy Ironwood? Who?
Yeah, but now it's back to pick up whatever they can for cheap. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we all remember classic Spider-Man love interest, Sissy Ironwood, right?
Okay, I can think of...
The most iconic.
Let's see, this isn't a Gwen Stacy, this isn't an MJ. Who the hell is
This
Sissy
isn't
Ironwood?
even a Felicia.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. And that's... Now, to be fair, that's a Spider-Man.
Bye, Felicia. Am I right, kids?
I mean, to be fair, that's Spider-Man's potential partner, not really Peter Parker's.
Oh, you know, that's a good point.
Is it? Oh.
I mean, sometimes.
Well,
it really depends on when you're reading.
Whoa.
Okay.
Chill.
Yeah, they're having...
I actually do remember Sissy Ironwood, but I fucking would. I've read through a frankly absurd number of Spider-Man comics.
Mm-hmm.
So, fun fact, Chris for a while was writing
We're having kitty problems upstairs.
there are technical difficulties involving the producers.
So, fun fact, for a while, Chris was writing Marvel Team Up, which probably isn't a shock. We've kind of ducked back in with him on that book a few times.
Ah, this is how he's doing this.
But I believe it was on this run that he was desperately trying to introduce yet another love interest for Peter Parker. Her name was Sissy Ironwood, and she was, personality-wise, incredibly generic and bland, which is kind of a surprise out of Chris.
Mm.
I also think she might have been a psychic, but also going crazy from it.
Hey, Iron Man had a love interest like that?
Yeah, I think I remember commenting on that before, and that's why I think that's what happened, but I don't even know. I don't know for sure anymore.
See, it could be you made that up in your head. It could be it's exactly what happened. Who knows?
It's been too long.
Despite all that, she is incredibly forgettable, with her major personality trait being that she's a nice girl.
Let's put it this way. She hasn't made it into any of the major adaptations.
I think I've seen her back once, actually, but it's been a long time. Anyway, it's not relevant. I just wanted to drag Sissy because I hate her.
That's fair.
I think this is a really great page from John Byrne. Very dynamic.
It's a good page. It's good art.
I think we also need to give Glynis some big ups here, though. Look at that lighting on Spider-Man, how it accentuates the pencils.
I do think it looks
Look
good.
at the good use of yellow.
Yeah.
But most improved.
It's been a couple years. Maybe she's learned a thing or two about not being racist.
Anyway, Spider-Man spots two familiar faces walking together, Scott Summers and Colleen Wing. And immediately he's in nosy bitch mode. He's like, oh, are they an item now? That's spicy gossip. Before dropping down to say hello and ask if Misty and Danny are still, you know.
Oh my god.
I mean, from what I've read, this is many decades before most of what I've read, but it still kind of tracks for Peter.
Then he remembers he's also late for his date, another Peter Parker problem, because this man has abandoned the executive and executive function to chase after criminal furries.
That's
Yeah.
normal. That's the job. That's actually being a Spider-Man. That's just what you do.
The function you can still arguably say there's some functioning.
What are you talking about? You can't be a spider person and have executive function.
And so he swings back off, leaving the road with its people and its garbage trucks in the dust. But one of these garbage trucks is not as it seems.
Oh no.
It's non-union?
The driver watches with keen eyes, waiting for his moment, as Scott and Misty continue with their date. I'm just gonna read this out so I enjoy it, and you know what? That's fine, this is for me. If you know, you know. You know, Colleen, you and Jean are the only girls I've ever dated. Growing up in a state orphanage makes for a lousy social life. I hated that place. The only things there that were really yours were your own thoughts. So anyway, that was just for me. Confirmed.
This is just for Ripley.
So don't listen to any of that. If you listened, you were listening to Ripley's private thoughts.
This is just for Ripley as a treat. So anyway, confirmed, Scott does think of this as a date.
Also, I mean, I went to the next line and he gets cut off, but I'd never told anyone this, not even Jean, but I...
Yep.
Oh, God. Scott. Scott, no wonder she's giving you a key.
Scott also does think of this as a date. It's not just Spider-Man. Unclear what the garbage man thinks of the matter, but as the couple cross the street, his truck surges to life, the container swinging down over top the pair with a thundering slang!
Yeah, that's absurd.
Subtle.
It's apparently a distinctive noise as poor Sissy's date night gets worse, as Peter's like, I'd know that slang anywhere!
Wait,
Oh my God.
hold on. Peter Parker knows about...
That specific noise.
He knows who the... Isn't this Arcade's introduction?
I thought it was, but I forgot that this bitch actually debuted in Marvel Team Up, which Chris was writing, because...
that makes sense.
Of course, as he did, went, mine now, and carted him off to the X-Men where he could take care of him.
Where he's lived many, productive...
Fruitful years.
Years-ish?
Peter, of course, doubles back to check in on them. Because he's a good and helpful boy, just ask his aunt. But when he returns to the street where he left them, the only sign he sees of the couple is Colleen's abandoned scarf. And I'm going to call Peter's date night ruined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a Peter Parker classic right there.
He's not making it back without making his life worse until he manages to unpiss off his girlfriend.
And this is a girlfriend who doesn't have a clue he's Spider-Man, I imagine.
I believe she does not. He then begins his search, and rather than asking all of the people that were just gawking at him talking to Colleen and Scott...
There were people on the street. They're not... I don't see anyone now, but, I mean, if you saw a garbage truck nab some people...
Well, he goes immediately. His mind's reeling to all the people he's got to get on the phone to warn if Arcade is on the hunt for people. He's got a new date with his Rolodex, which is a time-appropriate reference that no one has used in 20 years now, but is appropriate.
Oh, God. I've never used a Rolodex, and I never will.
My parents had two, actually.
Amazing.
We meet up with Kurt and Piotr at Lincoln Center, taking advantage of Professor Xavier's private box, bringing those flight attendants they were hitting on way back when.
It looked like Kurt has someone on his arm.
Yup. They brought those flight attendants along for a night of elegance watching the Bolshoi Ballet.
That's a little uncomfortable for Peter.
Maybe, yeah. I forgot, fuck. Unfortunately, it seems that the professor's private box is under refurbishment. Luckily, they do have a substitute, and a Miss Locke leads the group along to their new box. Its windowless walls don't provide much of a view of the ballet, though. As the door slams shut, it's promptly pumped full of sleeping gas before the boys can get their bearings to escape. And at Miss Locke's signal, a helicopter takes flight, carting the box off who knows where.
And somehow they didn't notice it was a fire exit, just because the sign was replaced.
They should put a sign on it, it's fine.
Yes, fire exits definitely don't have special doors or anything.
Right. Romance seems to be the mood going around with the X-Men. We catch up with Logan at the Japanese consulate. It seems he's managed to make good on his vow to catch up with Mariko.
He found his waifu!
Clad, of course, in full kimono.
Of course. What else would she fucking wear? Did they go out to eat sushi too?
I'm sure.
Fucking hell.
No, they got hibachi. God.
God.
After a nice dinner with the little lady, the two are parting ways with a possible second meeting on the horizon. While they may be parted, it seems his heart still dwells with Mariko, or at least his mind does, walking around pondering what future they could have. He's in a light enough mood to even light a stranger's cigarette for him as he passes.
Wow. Friendly Wolverine is weird.
He's fallen for her. Unbeknownst to him, while he's flying high on Cloud 9, a garbage truck revs its engine. They don't bother to show it, but I like to think they just hit him with the truck first. Soften him up.
Crunch.
Hit him and then you go plonk, and then you pump him with the gas. So, what date night have we got cooked up for our remaining two X-Men? Well, it seems that Sean's love is the love of a good book by a cozy fire. But the subsequent nap is interrupted by the persistent ringing of the phone. Alas, Scott's mission has been a success.
Oh boy.
Groggily, he stumbles off to pick it up, contemplating retirement aloud.
He's not that old.
He's also injured, man.
I know, but I guess...
It's harder to shake off an injury the older you are.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Arcade agrees about Banshee retiring, though he's got something much more permanent in mind.
Oh, Jesus.
Arcade, having somehow broken the mansion's intensive security measures, emerges unseen behind Cassidy, catching him right between the shoulder blades with some kind of gun. The book talks up the mansion's security systems like it's more now than just 5 teenagers with some grenades and AKs. Though the open fucking window would seem to indicate otherwise. And as Banshee collapses, the phone rings on. And on. And on. Until Aurora can take it no more, finally emerging from her bath to go pick it up. She at least makes it to the phone, but before she can answer to find out who it is, Arcade likewise shoots her down.
Well, that sure is Aurora nipple through the...
Yeah.
There is some nipples going on, yep.
Yeah.
See, this is one of the things I like about Arcade, because, like, he could just kill them all. They could be all dead right now, 2 of them by his own hand.
Right.
Now, okay, the Joker.
But it's all about the game, baby.
Oh god, it is the Joker.
Proper fucking psychopath.
It's the jokester.
Finally, though, someone answers the phone. Finally, Spider-Man, who has presumably been camping his phone booth for quite a while
Right.
now. Where the hell does he keep the change?
You don't want to know.
He's calling collect.
He wastes no time getting to his dire warning, itself wasted on a positively chuffed Arcade, who taunts that he'll be coming for Spidey seconds in no time. Peter then destroys the phone booth.
Oh my god.
That's not for you to destroy, my guy.
That's a little bit of an overreaction, my guy.
No!
It leaves me to question if this is how he always responds to bad news over the phone, like he's calling in to check, what's the balance on my student loan?
Hell.
Slowly, the X-Men begin to stir, only to find themselves enclosed in spheres. From his control room, Arcade makes one last systems check, and then the lights come up, leaving next to no time for the X-Men to register before he draws back on the hammer of a pinball machine.
Oh, God.
It's very cool of him to put them in their costumes.
Right? Weird, right? And finally releases it. On the real deal down below, the X-Men are giving a nauseating, painful introduction to Murder World, rocketing around their own pinball machine before falling away to their own individually prepared rooms, which would seem to ruin the element of randomness that pinball introduced, but what the fuck do I know?
It's 6D chess. It's more layers than 4D.
We land, painfully, with Scott in a heap on the floor among the wreckage of his busted pinball. As he picks himself up, Arcade helpfully narrates the mechanics of the room. 3 doors, 2 end in death. 1 is a way to freedom, and a hydraulic ram closing in on him to force a choice. Though unbeknownst to him, safety is behind none of the doors, only a concrete wall. While the landing doesn't damage Colossus at all, it does leave him cast into darkness. But only for a moment. The stark glare of a spotlight illuminates a single chair as a Russian voice orders for him to sit. Which he does, though with Colossus it has the effect of making him look like an adult at an elementary school student-teacher conference, trying to bend like 3 feet of leg into 2 feet of chair. A moment later, the door opens, admitting a man in a hat and trench coat, before swinging closed once more. He is Colonel Alexei Vagin of the KGB, and he has some questions for Pyotr Rasputin.
Sir, what are you doing outside of the country? You're like the FBI.
Questions that no good loyal son of Mother Russia would have anything to fear from. You don't have anything to fear, do you, comrade? He charges that Peter Nikolaevich Rasputin is a traitor, here offering his services to an American super team.
I mean, he's got a point, but
I wouldn't really say they're an American super team.
Yeah,
I'd say they're a super team based in America.
Well, hey, we've had multiple people say Thor is an American superhero.
Thor actually has ties to the American government, though.
And he is Donald Blake.
Yes.
So, he went to an American medical school.
Yeah.
His dad put him through American medical school.
He assumedly has American citizenship, unless he's been Swedish this whole time, which would be fucking excellent.
That would be really funny.
Does that mean Odin, how did Odin set up his citizenship?
I don't know if Odin... I don't know.
Oh God, what if he's not a legal
this...
citizen of the United States of America?
This is off topic.
It doesn't matter.
We can talk about this later.
Yep. Wolverine lands smack in the middle of a hall of funhouse mirrors, and he's not entertained at all. So Arcade somehow sends those funhouse android doubles after him to fight it out.
Oh, fun!
After that last bit with Piotr, that's a little uninspired.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not like he's known for great ideas.
Kurt is another X-Man to arrive in darkness, though the lights do eventually come up as Arcade turns his attention to our lovely little fuzzball. Suddenly, panels begin to rise from the sides of our Thunderdome, bumper cars armed with buzzsaws barreling down on Kurt. Nightcrawler's like, no sweat, I will simply not be on the floor anymore. And then the cars are also like, we will not be on the floor anymore.
Oh God.
One of them painfully grazing Wagner. Banshee is in the void.
Banshee's in the void.
And then he is instead in a World War II battleground, dodging strafing Nazi fighters and bombers.
I mean, Consider me impressed. That's actually a little unexpected. Also, so these should now be what? The Iraq War, given the sliding time scale?
God, I don't know.
Well, no, maybe Kosovo?
It's a ways back. Yeah, it's probably more like the Gulf War or something. I don't fucking know.
The other Iraq War. Great.
I'm going to take a minute to note that, the whole time, who Arcade makes me think of? You guys keep saying the Joker, but I keep thinking of Mad Mod from the Teen Titans show.
Okay.
You know
I
what?
haven't ever said the Joker. John said the Joker. I always think of Mad Mod from Teen Titans.
You know what? They might have cribbed literally from him.
I don't know. Is Mad Mod an actual DC guy, or did they make him up for the show?
I believe so. I don't know which comes first.
Let's put it this way. They're known for cribbing off each other.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
No.
We literally...
Looking at you, Deadpool. You didn't end up that way, but you started out that way.
This just feels like that whole Teen Titans episode.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Except more serious.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if the show cribbed from this specific thing to do that.
Anyway, Storm seemed like she was the least with it when Arcade tossed his X-Pokeballs into the arena. And that seems to be holding true now after her landing as well.
Ooh.
To her anxiety, she finds herself in a fairly snug little chamber.
That's not good.
And then the floor flips out from under her, leaving her trapped just above a small pool of water. She finds herself really struggling against some kind of force sucking her down towards the water, some kind of downburst, and suddenly she thinks she sees some kind of escape hatch, manages to tear herself away from the surface of the water with a jolt of lightning. But just when she nearly escapes, she's zapped by some kind of field generated by the very lightning she'd used to free herself. In Scott's action-packed room, he has still not chosen a door.
Of course, typical of him.
I'm
trying
shocked.
to puzzle out what the right solutions are. The door is too easy. Arcade just came right out and said it, so what it's time to do is think outside of the box. He instead focuses his gaze on the side wall to the chamber and lets loose.
Time to punch your own door.
Logan is still fighting for his funhouse doubles, but every time he kills one, another shows up to replace it. Eventually they'll wear him down. Or they would, but Cyclops' optic blast cuts through the walls and into one of his robo-opponents.
Oh
Wow.
boy.
This was surprisingly easy to escape.
And finally, the endless tide of robots stops. And now, they can get a move on to save the rest of their friends. He dashes off into the next room, pressing start to play straight into the hammering blow of the Super Proletario Brother!
Holy shit.
My God.
The hero of the motherland, brainwashed by Arcade's murder world, and here to undo his past treasons by smashing the X-Men!
The proletarian workers' hero of the Soviet Union.
This
and
is
he's wearing
an outfit.
He's wearing red overalls with a picture of Lenin, CCCP on it, over the picture of Lenin, and the hammer and sickle under the picture of Lenin.
This is so much.
And he's wearing the fucking cap. The French cap. Oh god, whatever it's called.
This is a lot.
And he's got boots. Black boots.
It's a look.
I'm sure you're looking at it, but
the super proletariat brother is a good description.
It is. What the fuck?
Arcade is very entertained by this. The unlucky dates of the X-Men contained in weird gift boxes are less so. I kind of feel like we're doing Colleen dirty here, right?
Yeah.
Like, surely she's more capable than sit here in a box and watch her boyfriend get aced.
Right.
Ugh.
That aside, that's the end of the issue. How would you rate that?
4. I liked it. It was fun.
I guess. It's one of his better outings so far.
I think 3.5. It's very silly, but I like Arcade a lot. What do you think CMRO thinks?
3.
Do they like him? I don't know.
Arcade is a very divisive villain, that's
yes,
true.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's more of a matter of sometimes they treat him like he's just a joke, and sometimes they take him seriously, and the joke becomes dark comedy. And when it's the latter, he's been used well, but when it's the former, it's the worst. It's the second worst X-Men thing to read. The first worst, you hate.
Fucking Mojo.
Mojo is never good. You cannot do Mojo well.
What do you think CMRO rated it?
Probably middle. 3.
3.61.
Okay.
They're closer to you guys. Anyway, given this cliffhanger, I'm sure you guys will appreciate moving on to the next issue and saving the Beast stories for the end. So, our next issue is going to be X-Men 124 from May of 1979.
Oh my god!
It's literally the same parade of names as ever. Chris Claremont, John Byrne, Terry Austin, Glynis Wein, Tom Orzechowski. We pick up where we left off.
Oh god, he's already killed someone, and he's gonna kill again.
Quite literally, Arcade is still having his little giggle fit like this silly goose he is. While his gizmos continue their efforts to murder the X-Men. Apparently for this gambit, he is being paid a neat $6 million. I would like to ask a question of the Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy.
Where did they get $6 million?
Why?
Hey, Mr. Cassidy, how much money have you been sitting on?
Fucking why? You have $6 million stashed away in a rainy day fund and you're doing all the crime? Like, they truly are just in it for the love of the game,
right?
Folks.
Well, let's be real. Look at the Juggernaut. And remember his family. Come on. He's from money.
Charles is from money.
Well, he became from money when Charles got adopted.
Question becomes, what did he get, I guess?
Well, I imagine he got a lot, considering
Probably.
Charles's dad, adoptive
Mommy
father.
died before, so...
I
don't know. It all depends on what's been laid out, right? It all depends on what's in the will.
Yeah, and
of Mama Xavier.
I will bet you anything that adoptive father Xavier did some very bad things to get paid.
It's called stepdad, John.
Yeah, but
it's his stepdad.
I don't care.
Bold stance.
Let me make up family relationships.
He asks the girls what they think of the show, and Colleen is not impressed, finding the way Arcade likes to play with his food before he eats it indecent. But Arcade doesn't agree. He figures his way, they've at least got a chance out. Like, he did build in ways to build his game, to win his game. Again, a motherfucker is truly just in it for the love of the craft, because if they escape, he's down a clean $6 million.
So the only reason he's doing this is because he gets off on risking the money.
Oh, it is a mess, man. Well, Colleen snaps that he is insane, and he gives her a smooch on the lips, agreeing that he's crazy as a loon, before taunting that she's pretty when she's mad. And at her prompting, Arcade gives us a backstory.
I want her to kill this guy.
Unfortunately, we all...
It's not gonna happen, I know, but...
'Twas affluenza that made the man this way. He was raised too rich to know better. Something that we should give a pass rather than the guillotine.
No, guillotine this man.
After Daddy cut off his allowance, Arcade was also on board with seeing the ultra-wealthy dead, if the ultra-wealthy in question was Daddy Dearest, at least.
Cha-ching!
Jesus.
Looks like a car bomb happened, I think. He then immediately spent Daddy's money on Murder World, and it was a raging hit with his equally sadistic clientele. Coming up in the murder game, one day he landed a contract on Captain Britain and accidentally nabbed Spider-Man at the same time. The heroes beat him, but the rush of adrenaline when there were actual stakes on the line really captivated him.
Yep, he has a murder boner.
Yup. Like I said, proper fucking psychopath. It really seems like he's in danger of sliding into an addiction here the way he's acting about it.
Yeah. We know he's gonna slide into an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
You have a problem, sir.
But enough of him. Back to the show in progress. Syke and Wolvie are trying to fight off the proletarian, but they're in that sticky spot of not wanting to hurt their friend.
Right.
Well,
Difficult.
Scott is, Logan less so. Furious at Piotr's betrayal, Wolverine leaps at him, claws out, but Piotr catches him easily, tossing him at Cyclops in a cruel mockery of a fastball special. Luckily, Prowley misses, sending Stabby McMurderhands, instead flying through a cartoonish revolving door that spins around a bunch of times.
What the fuck?
Before eventually snapping closed in Scott's face, the two separated once more. Right behind him, Rasputin hurls the leader of the X-Men through the Hall of Mirrors, and Scott's like, "Welp, I'm dead." Before he too flies into a cartoonish revolving door.
Oh my god.
So, this was part of the plan?
It wasn't, actually. Left behind, Piotr strains against himself. He feels a piece of relief at his friend's survival, so he didn't actually expect that. But Colonel Vajin's strong pull at his psyche corrects him, sending him back on his mission once more. Storm's situation hasn't improved any, barely able to bring the forces of nature to her command when she needs them most. A vicious downdraft slams Aurora painfully back into the water, knocking all of the wind out of her. She kicks her way back to the surface, only to find the water nearly at ceiling level. Okay, so that spinny cartoon door left to a cartoon pipe slide, carrying Scott off to Kurt's Thunderdome.
Okay.
Just in time, too, as another of the bumper cars is closing in on an injured Kurt. Scott comes to his friend's rescue with an optic blast before helping him back to his feet. At least now they have some time to think, right? Wrong! They have 4 more cars now! What part of Murder World don't you understand?
Send in more cars!
Wolverine's spinny door must have spat him out in Banshee's hollow void, and the pair of them are now playing Dodge the Plane Fire, though they are spaceships now.
Cool.
Some of them are fakes, and some of them aren't, which is kind of a problem. All Sean can really do is run. His scream is still out of commission.
I'm kind of impressed they're playing Battlestar Galactica.
Right? He's not going to last long in there, so Logan's got a plan to get him out. He just runs until he hits wall and then starts peeling the wall open. But what's on the other side but Magneto and the Hulk?
Really?
Chris, you're writing X-Men, not Marvel Team-Up. Don't lose track.
Hulk wouldn't be there.
Storm's first priority on not dying is taking off her shoes.
I mean,
I think that's fair.
She's actually right.
I guess I get the cape more.
Shoes, especially those
Especially
big-ass
those
boots.
shoes. Well, specifically the way that it, like the toe is pointed and it's got a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Which is both bad for swimming.
Fair enough point, but now that the important things are done at least, she can take her last breath before diving for the bottom of the room, searching for the source of the water, eventually finding a grated-off pipe.
Frankie is losing her shit right now.
She fires lightning into the pipe with all of her might, hoping to rupture something and save herself. Scotty and Kurt still aren't having a great time either, but finally Cyclops decides to take the offensive against the cars, showing off his roughly so much danger room practice by blasting all of the cars with one optic blast while Kurt's like, bro.
Whoa.
It's not quite moments of indescribable badass, but it's up there.
And they all make different noises.
One of them is Zack.
Zrap, Zap, Zack, Zorp, Zarp, Zram, Zoop, and Zakow.
He then blasts them an exit from the room, and the two of them duck into the maze of maintenance tunnels that make this place go, before splitting up once more, hoping to find the control center. Things are starting to turn against Arcade, and that situation is very much reflected in the control center. Arcade has suddenly realized that he's missing 2 X-Men, and Storm's power output might actually do the job, though Miss Locke at least has kept her head, informing the boss man that she's taken care of the girls.
Who's this other clown?
I don't actually...
Oh, he was driving the garbage truck.
I'm not used to him having
He's
minions.
the Russian guy.
And he's the Russian guy.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I knew that was definitely not, like, a real dude, but I didn't know if it was, like, a hologram or what.
Or, like, drugs, or...
No, I think it's him in a costume, but I could be wrong. It could be a robot.
Doing a really good accent, I guess.
It could be a robot. I'm not sure. That was just, like, what I assumed.
Okay.
From his branch of tunnels, Psyche hears a nearby fight, and knowing it means at least one of his friends is imperiled nearby, he blasts his way out and joins the fight against Robomax 2.0 and Robo-Hulk. On his journey through the tunnels, Kurt has gotten lucky, finding his way to the control room. After only a moment to take stock, Kurt leaps into action, teleporting away to knock Arcade back from the control panel. When Ms. Locke tries to take him down with a shotgun, Kurt's training kicks in and he disarms her before opening fire on the controls all around them. But with his very cursory look around, he missed out on lackey number 2.
Oof.
And at Arcade's prompting, Chambers hits him with the gas, sending Kurt back to Betty by land.
Damn it.
Arcade ordering Ms. Locke to leave him like the girls.
This outfit that she's wearing is something.
It is.
It's era appropriate.
It's like it's like a half pussy outfit. Like she's just...
It's the business casual of pussy out.
She's gonna have a wardrobe malfunction.
Well, that's the risk you take when you do this kind of thing. Sometimes you kill the people you mean to kill, and sometimes you have a massive wardrobe malfunction.
The battle with the robots is finally wrapping up when suddenly the wall blows out and the boys are all swept along with the current until it finally drains away, leaving a limp, sodden Aurora laying in the middle of the room. When she doesn't move or respond, Scott dashes across the room to administer rescue breathing, and after a long, tense moment, she stirs weakly to life.
You need to do compressions and breaths in intervals, actually.
Yes.
Breaths alone is not enough.
Well, it would have sucked to have broken her ribs.
I think she would have been fine with it if she was alive.
Nah.
Well, it said for a long time, so maybe there were compressions that we're not seeing.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I have to assume this man knows at least basic first aid.
Right.
No, he woke her with a kiss.
Well, she's alive again for now, as Polario strides through the door.
God.
With all the X-Men he seeks to destroy now in one room.
Oh no, Banshee.
Banshee's joy at seeing him is repaid with a sock to the jaw. And I don't know what he does to Wolverine, but Brack sounds painful.
It's practically metal on metal this time.
He then grabs Cyclops and Storm by the throats, furious at how he was turned into a bad and treasonous boy. As Piotr slowly squeezes the life out of his friends, they realize he's not himself right now, and try to find some way to get through to him. Scott finally speaking the words we all know are true: the X-Men are a big, messy family.
Mm-hmm.
It's Aurora's words that finally reach through the brainwashing, though, saying that Piotr's like the brother she's never had, triggering his big brother impulse and snapping Piotr back into himself.
He's so cute.
I love him.
Wow.
No longer under constant attack, the X-Men have at least a moment to breathe. As Piotr explains that the KGB guy was like an actual real big-time guy, and they all fucked with him, but then at the touch of a button, the floor wraps up around them into a sphere before once more the X-Men are sent on Arcade's wild and wacky pinball maze, finally spitting them out on the surface in a derelict amusement park.
Fun.
Behind them, 4 fireworks go off in the background, before canopies open and 4 large gift boxes float safely down to Earth. With the fight over, Logan wants a fucking rematch!
Of course.
I mean...
He wants to beat him again, but this time in person. And, I love this whole exchange because these two are arguing like this the whole way home. Scott's like, well, for one, you have no fucking idea where Murder World actually is. Just because we got spit out here doesn't mean it's anywhere even close. For 2, we can't fucking arrest him, we're not cops. And Logan's like, well, I'm not gonna fucking arrest him. And Scott's like, Logan, you can't even prove anything, he did anything, you're gonna get us arrested.
Again, not trying to prove anything, I'm just gonna murder him.
Then Logan pouts about running away like, bro, you're not. You're here because Arcade is running away.
Right.
You won. Go home.
That take the L and leave.
So what did you think about that one? That's the end of the issue.
That sure was an end.
It was an ending. It felt very sudden.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to keep going, honestly.
But I liked seeing the different ways they were finding problem-solving teaming up together a lot, so that gains back a lot of points for me.
I don't like that those girls were just,
No, that loses some points
gift-wrapped.
I mean, what, the 70s? The 80s?
It's the 70s still.
It's not shocking.
But Chris knows better.
But it still sucks.
Chris knows better.
He does. Maybe he had the problem of juggling too many characters.
I'm gonna say 3.5, taking all of that into account.
Yeah, agreed.
Sure.
What do you think from CMRO?
4.
3.
3.48, they're right about with us.
Ugh.
Excellent. Yeah, isn't he handsome?
No!
That's great.
Hey, good looking.
Kill it with fire!
I've seen this cover many times.
So, it's time for the first of our B stories. That's going to be Classic X-Men 29 from September of 1988. Written by Chris Claremont. Penciled by June Brigman. Inked by Roy Richardson. Colored by Glynis Wein. And lettered by Joe Rosen. Just one small delay. We're going to do a few routine maintenance checks before we leave. All routine, and then we're going to get back underway. June and Roy are both new names for us, so let's take a look at them. Well, here's my fun fact for both of them, because for once I can do this without guilt, they're straight up fucking married.
Did you mention them? Did you mention who this was? Did you actually go through those credits?
Yes.
Okay.
So we got distracted by the cat.
Fair.
Piotr Rasputin may not appreciate the needle holes through which Storm has threaded him on his journey home. The number of people watching for anything inbound to the Soviet Union right now is sizable.
Especially coming from America.
Yeah.
And should any of them be tipped off, it could be the end of the world.
Oh, there's a reason the sidebars of this comic have nuclear weapons launching on them.
But the pair of them are smaller than anything the military is looking for, so Storm flies him safely over the pole, landing the pair of them a short distance outside the Ust-Ordensky collective farm. Well, they could have landed a bit closer. Piotr explains that he wanted to really soak in the feeling of home first, something he's long been missing. And so, at Pete's urging, Aurora departs, reminding him that when, or truly if, he's ready to rejoin the X-Men, he need only signal. From here, he walks alone, following the familiar roads of home, along until he comes upon his little sister, Ilyana, picking flowers.
Oh my god!
And she is so excited to see her big brother again, flinging her flowers aside to leap into Piotr's arms.
She's so young and happy.
Just a baby.
And none of the bad things that will happen to her have happened yet.
At the sound of the excitement, Mr. and Mrs. Rasputin leave their little cabin, overjoyed to see their boy home again.
Yes.
There's a lot to catch up on, but it's going to have to be over food because Mama can see her baby is nearly skin and bones. his family browsed through his drawings of his time away from home, some of it beyond belief for his parents, though little Ilyana is positively delighted. Papa Rasputin is just glad his boy's home, having been left full of doubt over whether they'd done the right thing in the wake of his departure. And since that's a little awkward, Petey decides to see if he can catch up with his friends, especially Sasha, assumedly a bestie. Though, at the mention, his parents' faces fall before asking Ilyana to take Pyotr to Sasha. And so he takes her small hand in his, following her out of the village and out into the fields, finally stopping at a memorial cemetery for those lost fighting in Afghanistan.
Oh! Okay, that timing of that is a little weird, but sure.
His heart is heavy, but seeing how he sags, Ilyana runs to his side, promising that she'll protect him and try to make him feel better. This touching moment is interrupted by the sound of truck tires skidding, and then the rolling crash as it doesn't make the turn. The driver's all right, though he's making tracks because the wreck is on fire and he was hauling propane.
Oh dear.
Shit. Pyotr will not see his home devastated, and sprints towards the fire, gleaming steel skin catching the glare of sunlight and the flames.
He burst out of his clothes.
Yup.
Yeah, off panel, he burst out of his clothes.
He's in his undies now.
The fire
Hopefully.
doesn't stop him, and surely all his time in the danger room probably made this possible, picking up and moving the truck away from the rest of the collective without rupturing the tanks. It's alright now. When he returns back to the center of town, Pyotr's skin is still red-hot to the touch, so Papa tosses a pail of water over him, Ilyana giggling over the steam created before jumping back in his arms once more, chattering on about how she can't wait until she gets to be a big, strong metal girl, too.
Oh, it's not gonna go like that at all for you.
Everyone seems pretty happy to see him, particularly in the wake of his heroics with the truck. Everyone except a war vet named OSHA, who shouts that Pyotr is a traitor, swinging a crutch madly at his neighbors. Not a great decision as he's down an arm and a leg. And OSHA topples to the ground, furiously ordering Pyotr back after he offers him a hand up. So many young men in the collective dead, and where was Pyotr Rasputin then? Not there with his strength to protect them. But OSHA didn't only come with accusations. He brought several members of the militia along to take him away. His fury is not sated just seeing him locked away, and OSHA continues to berate him, describing Sasha's torturous fate at the hands of the Mujahideen, delighted to pass along the information that a KGB colonel will be coming for the likes of him.
Oh, fun.
Eventually, Colonel Vagin does arrive, and it's the real one this time, instead of one of Arcade's associates in a hat. And he takes the handcuffed Pyotr Rasputin off with him in a sedan, eventually pulling off the road and uncuffing Pyotr so the pair can talk. He's not actually imprisoned. Apparently there's some deal between the USSR and the USA that they will not use superpowered soldiers in their armies. And this agreement is actually adhered to, which is actually really fucking funny and really rich when one of the parties to this treaty is famous for having a soldier wrapped in the American flag hitting people with a garbage can lid.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, hold on. I don't think he's really been a true, regular, active duty combatant since 1945.
Accompanied by the fact that these companies are constantly fucking doing this!
These days, it's the Canadians who are violating the Accords.
But this is so fucking real. Like, this is the realest shit. The Cold War superpowers both agreeing and enforcing on everyone else that they cannot do this thing, while quietly doing the thing on the down low.
Of course.
For the most part, they're really putting these super soldiers on their own turf and using them to enforce their own internal laws.
Alright, maybe I'll give you that. Maybe.
'Cause, I mean,
not even always.
Also, Cap goes off and does his own shit so fucking much.
Vagin pretty much acknowledges my point because he's like, you could come work for the KGB. Loophole.
Yeah. See, being a local Leo is different from being a foreign, military officer fighting in Afghanistan, watching all your buddies die.
Yeah, we don't have any superheroes in the armed forces, just the CIA.
No. This is the FBI. It's a different beast. It works internally.
Or he could go back to the X-Men. The Colonel's whole deal is he keeps track of supergroups like this, figures out if they're a threat to the USSR. Apparently the X-Men have passed the sniff test.
Huh. Damn. Hey, Chuck? How many governments have you been working with?
He's got friends in high places, never said where those places all were.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder he was able to bring a Russian boy straight from the motherland.
It's all copacetic.
He just casually brings a guy in from Russia, and no one cares.
Because the only other alternative is that they really do just arrest Pyotr.
Yeah.
And Rasputin's heart aches at the thought of leaving home. He's Russian, and he loves his country, and he wants to serve her. But that's a non-starter for Vajin. Officially, he's a traitor and will remain so. Though the Colonel does offer him the comfort that he will ensure that his letters reach home. What do you think of that?
I think the Colonel is lying about the letters reaching home.
I think if he lets the letters reach home, there's significantly less issue of Pyotr coming up and making a problem.
True.
I think the letters will be censored.
Fair. I believe that.
I think this car is very silly and small.
Actually,
looks really silly next to Pyotr.
It does, but it actually looks like a high-end Russian design from the era.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's one of the better. It's what the KGB would have driven back then. High-end. The scale's a little funky, but it's the right design for what the KGB.
I would buy that scale if Pyotr were steeled up.
Yes.
As just Pyotr Rasputin, big boy.
I mean, this was...
I liked it. 4.
It's so weird seeing his sister before.
I love the hints of all the intrigue that happened off panel.
She's so curious about all the things.
She is so fucking cute.
God, when does all that start for her? Like, when did...
Ask me no secrets, I'll tell you no lies, but I know it's around X-Men 150.
Okay. Look, I know about her because she's maybe the most interesting X-Men I've encountered.
Yeah. I believe it's around X-Men 150, but I could be wrong about that.
But yeah, I just wanted an approximate.
Yep.
This was good stuff, considering.
What do you think?
A little short.
You're at a 4 too?
Sure.
Alright, what do you think Samuro thought?
2?
3.
3.06.
Nailed it.
And capping us off for the night, we have the B story from Classic X-Men 30.
That cover.
From October of 1988, written by...
Well,
dun dun dun!
They did fight a Hulk robot.
Yeah.
And Nascenti.
Oh no!
Penciled and inked by John Bolton. Colored by Glynis Wein and lettered by Jim Novak.
Mr. Bolton, save us.
He's too busy at his job as a head chef. Taking us a little longer to get started than we expected, folks, but I just got word from the engineer. We should be moving along within 10 minutes. So, a brief warning on this one for child abuse. You know best what you can handle. So just keep it in mind. This is entirely a character exploration. You're missing nothing important unless you're very invested in Arcade. What in the glue-sniffing fuck is this?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh no, we're learning about Arcade's background. I hate it already.
I don't even know how to start this. Some ginger kid's running away from his nightmares. Apparently he felt the movie Plane, Trains, and Automobiles was a horror.
Well, I mean, if you're Arcade, then maybe it is.
And clowns are scary.
Yeah.
I mean, valid.
I follow you, kid. He does not want to play with them, and wakes with a start, drenched in sweat, until remembering that he is Arcade.
Oh.
Wait, is that his actual name?
That's what he's calling himself, buddy. It's a stormy night, and crackling lightning bolts leave the objects in his room, flashed into bright, sinister silhouettes before darkness reclaims them once more. From the other room, he hears his computer chirping, and the fear is gone.
His computer system.
Replaced instead by fury that someone is playing with his toys!
What is that computer he has? Why does he have this?
This is...
It's his beloved murder world!
He's not... John, I think
not
you're
a baby.
confused. He's not a child.
Oh,
He's not a child,
Just
he's
in the dream, he was a
he
child.
looks like he's
He's
still...
not a child, he's just a manlet.
He's a man like
I
he's wearing
get
a
it.
onesie.
This Hey, look at the art and tell me my confusion isn't somewhat reasonable.
I mean, I think it's intentional, frankly.
That he's a man-child.
Yes.
When he enters the control room, there's no one to be seen, but the murder room is on and active tonight, and its systems are focusing on chasing someone through its halls. Even more, he's been locked out of the computer. Someone is getting murdered for free!
Wow.
And he can't have that.
That's a steep discount.
And so he stomps off to change into his actual clothes to
Good.
head into the murder world to sort this the fuck out! For some reason, this sounded like a good idea to him.
Mm.
And he is shocked when Murder World begins trying to murder him.
No way!
What?
Gosh, Murder World is dangerous.
I didn't know Murder World could kill me, says man who voted for Murder World.
First, he battles off some handyman's tools. He manages to destroy them both, but rather than going back, Arcade continues deeper into the Murder World's depths, where he stumbles upon a giant likeness of his childhood toys, back for revenge for some of their poor treatment.
Good.
They open fire in a giant shooting gallery, which he survives, but he is now thoroughly convinced that Murder World was programmed to murder him. Which does make the lockout make a little more sense.
I'm okay with this.
But now the only way out is through, and so he continues, next coming upon a likeness of his childhood self, lost in play with all his toys. He ruffles his own hair before holding out one of the toys, a clown doll, to himself, only for Baby Cade to rip the nose off the doll. That enrages him, and Arcade hits the rotten brat with the doll again and again until he cries, "Uncle!"
Ugh.
Only then does he pause, before recoiling in horror because the kid is him, and that's not to mention the confusion. Suddenly the door is ripped open, and his father storms through it, furious at how the kid wastes his money, wasting his day playing like the fuck you want him to be doing. My dude, he's like 6.
He should be working in the mines!
Apparently what he wants is for him to be doing something productive. What is that, Dad Cade? What? Daddy Dearest grabs the boy by first the arm and then the shirt, raising one of the boy's toys high overhead to hit him with. But Arcade is not just going to watch his dad beat his childhood self again, and so he grabs one of the toy trains, bludgeoning his father with it until he collapses, clearly nothing more than a robot echo of a dead man.
Well,
now.
it's not the first time he's killed his father.
It's true.
And he picks Baby Cade up, holding him to his side and promising to protect him. But then Baby Cade's leg falls off.
Cool.
And Arcade just drops the robot to the side because he forgot, oh yeah, this is Murder World.
Right.
Wow, Arcade, you idiot.
Furious that someone was able to get to him like this, he storms back up to the control room, trying the computer one more time to figure out who the hell ordered that unwanted therapy session. And he finally does force his way through the codes, stunned to see that the author was himself.
And that's it.
The end.
Okay.
What'd you think of that?
That sure was Ann comic.
It wasn't the worst that Ann Nesenti has done.
That's
No.
true. We have seen her do so much worse.
It was... I wouldn't say it was good.
In fact, I would almost say that there was almost something to this.
Almost.
Almost.
I wouldn't say it was good, but I also wouldn't say it was terrible.
I think that were it expanded out to a full-length story, this could be decent.
Yeah.
The problem here is it just ends on a weird note, and there's no reason for it to do that.
I like the ending, actually. The ending's probably my favorite part. One of them.
I mean, Arcade dropping the robot child version of himself is very expressive of what kind of asshole he is.
Yep. And with that, what do you think Samuro thought, or what did you think first, I guess? Rate it.
It's hard
2.
Sure.
I'll give it a 3. I'll give it a little more. This was pretty good for Ann Nocenti from what we've read.
You're right.
Yeah, but she's usually a 1,
Yes.
so...
Yeah.
So 2 is actually pretty generous to Ann Nesenti.
I'm gonna give her a 3. I'll be generous.
You're really generous. You're heaping out praise for Ann Nesenti.
What do you think Samuro thought?
4.
5.
I think they like Ann Nocenti.
Nah, 2.68. Ann Nocenti is not a hit in
good.
CMRO.
Thank
She
God.
shouldn't be.
And
Yeah.
all aboard that's coming aboard. We are leaving the station now.
Now we have to talk about Spider-Man.
Ah,
True.
I'm
Spiderman.
so tired.
I want to see it again.
Spider-Man. Spoilers for Spider-Man
Across the Spider-Verse.
across the Spider-Verse.
And I mean, probably for Into the Spider-Verse, but, you know.
If you haven't seen it. But I think most people have.
And if they haven't, I'm not. I'm only extending spoiler warnings out so fucking far.
Right.
Spoilers for... oh yeah, by the way, we spoiled many comics this episode. We spoil comics here. I'm sorry.
Okay, here's a question. Who was your guys' favorite spider
Oh.
in the movie?
Ooh. I think I'm gonna have to give that to Gwen.
Gwen was really good this one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it to Gwen this time. I'm disappointed. I was looking for my favorite bitchy spider.
I
And
know.
he wasn't there.
Oh?
Kane Parker.
Ah.
Kane is a lot.
I think my favorite was Hobie, but
Hobie, it was
Hobie
Hobie
great.
was
Pretty
fantastic. My second favorite was probably Pivotter.
Who has gotten such a glow up, by the way. I've read
Yes,
stuff he's
yeah.
He really
he
has.
looks
Part of the
much
reason I
better.
like him is because the design is so pretty.
from. They gave a bunch of the spider people glow ups from
God,
their
I
comic
forget
sources.
what they called it. If it was New Mumbai or what. What the fuck did they call that? city?
Moonbatten.
Moonbatten. That's it. I liked Moonbatten. That was awesome
I'm
looking.
actually a little sad that these design changes are probably never going to get picked up by the comics.
Oh, I think if it's significant enough, they very well could.
They might.
I mean, it could be one of
If
the...
it's popular enough.
But yeah, Spider-Man Indio definitely got a glow up because in the comics he's just like Spider-Man with harem pants.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
It's not great.
No.
It's not great. But he looked really cool, and I liked his personality. He was goofy.
Yeah, he's fun.
And I also never actually expected any diving into Spider-Gwen material.
It's cool to see Jess.
It was.
I hate that she's pregnant, Jess.
I know you do.
That's a whole different thing that they aren't really willing to
You're a lesbian Jessica Drew truther.
I am.
That's fair.
The lesbian Jessica Drew truther and a Carol Jess truther.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought the whole movie was really good. The animation was gorgeous, of course.
They nailed the Spider-Gwen stuff. It looked exactly like the comic. The
Cool.
segments for Gwen.
It was
Oh, yeah.
so beautiful.
And I read about some of the stuff they had to do to create the likes of Hobie. He's animated completely differently from everyone else.
You can see it.
You could tell.
Everyone else is animated on 2s. He's animated on 3s. He's just got to be different.
Mm-hmm.
He's just built different.
He is. They coded stuff specifically to build him differently.
They did such a great job, I think, capturing all of the different characters' personalities.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
And they had a lot to work with, considering.
I'm rather confused about the choice that now it is the whole Spider-Verse is now like the Captain Britain Corps. I'm a little confused by that.
Well, let's be
Yeah.
fair. It's better than always dealing with the inheritors.
Yeah.
So I was, the whole time that was happening, I was sitting here thinking, this doesn't feel very Peter Parker-y. But then, like, it's Miguel who's running it, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know enough about Miguel to decide if that's something he would do.
His whole situation is very different from this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm willing to go with that, I guess.
It's not a Peter Parker. It's not Peter Parker-y because at the end of the day, this isn't being
He's
run by
got
Peter
his
Parker.
same explosive temper, so that's on track.
Oh, so Miguel is the explosive type, huh?
He's a bitch.
He's got a temper.
I haven't
He's
run
got a
into
big
him,
temper.
as far as I know. The fact that we can just
That's fine.
just get into all this stuff with these characters. They did such a great job with them.
I thought it was fun. Did anybody have a favorite cameo spider, just a real brief one that, like, you don't touch on.
I saw Bagman.
Uh,
Bagman was there.
What about live action Prowler?
Oh my god, Donald Glover.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you know, the man... For anyone who doesn't know, Donald Glover had, like, a campaign to get him to be the new Spider-Man years and years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
And of course, because he's a black man, of course there was, like, a big fucking uproar about it, and they're like, Spider-Man can't be black, and then...
Guys, Spider-Man, there's been a black Spider-Man for a while
That
now.
was pre that, I think.
No, I think Miles was actually in part based on him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I believe so.
That's really old.
I might
Damn.
be completely wrong
So
about
then
that.
they eventually did give him a role in the MCU.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
theoretically the Prowler.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is the same character.
Yep.
So now
And-
they've apparently completed his...
I mean, he's had a few Spiders roles at this point, but he never got to be actually Peter Parker. He did get to be Miles Morales in the cartoon that Ripley hates.
Well, it's not my fault that cartoon is very bad.
Well, and also, his voice is a little bit mature to be Miles.
Yeah.
Like, he can't really pull off a 16-year-old.
He's not really a voice actor, as far as I can tell.
No.
He might have been better suited to do it back when he was running this campaign.
Oh!
It
can
was
believe
nice. It was nice to see him in something, because I was literally just thinking, like, I don't see him at all anymore.
Yeah.
He kind of went off to do music.
And
And
then he stopped doing music.
And then he
mostly.
stopped doing music.
maybe he made enough money to not need to do anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just looking for the right project.
Well,
then-
yeah,
Once you make it, you can be selective.
but that means you also made enough money to not need to work.
He better be in the Community movie, or so help me.
Oh, come on, he'll be in the Community movie. Come on,
better
6
be.
seasons and a movie. We're getting that movie.
Come on.
I got to see, I think she goes by Spinnerettes, the Spider-Man Renew Your Vows MJ.
Mm.
Yes, I saw her, actually.
I was excited to see
It was a
her.
cameo.
Yeah,
There
real
were
brief.
so many cameos.
There are so many. I also like the Lone Ranger.
Oh my
the
god.
spider car.
The spider car.
The spider buggy.
The
There are
spider buggy was good.
So
the
many.
spider cowboy was good. Why does the horse need a mask? To hide his secret identity.
You know, that thing horses have. It's identities that need to sometimes be secrets.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
and Baby Mayday.
Mayday.
I don't have anything more coherent to say about this. It was just like a visual fucking
Ooh,
feast.
yeah.
It was
It
very,
was
it was
gorgeous.
very fun. It was gorgeous.
It was very fun. The characters were good.
But before I come out and say straight out that, alright, this is good, the story does leave on a potentially compromised note, because this is a 2-part story.
It is explicitly designed
And
to
so,
be on a cliff.
all of the weight of the later part also falls down on the first,
Oh, yeah,
to an extent.
I mean, yeah, they can't stick that landing, though.
I expect they will stick
I
the
would be
landing.
shocked if they don't reasonably stick the landing, though it may be divisive.
I liked what I've seen, but I'm still not going to be like, oh yeah, it's the perfect thing, because there's that hanging story.
Yeah.
Wait and see.
Give it a...
Give it a couple of years and we'll sort that out.
Yeah. They say 2024, but let's be real.
This one, they had to push back for this
Yeah,
one,
they've been
so
saying-
they're already that
Because,
much
yeah, they've been
further.
saying 2024 since this one was supposed to be released in 2020.
Well, that's not a fair comparison. Anything that was supposed to be released in 2020.
I know, but they never actually moved the third one's date.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Or they could be doing, like we were talking about, a Lord of the Rings or a Matrix situation where
It's
they
possible.
get everything sorted.
Though, if the rumors I've heard are true, which who fucking knows, it could be a while. So
I am fully willing to believe that.
Yeah.
I'm willing to wait.
that's the thing. Be prepared to wait.
I'm prepared to wait for a good product, you know?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't mind. And especially with everyone in Hollywood going on strike.
It's also something that's probably good to keep in mind going in, what your expectations are on the pacing, knowing that you're leaving on a cliffhanger.
Right.
This had a better opening than Guardians 3.
That's a pretty good opening.
Like as far as its financials, I have no idea what the drop-off has been. I haven't been keeping... I think we're still too in it to know...
Oh, I thought you were talking about the opening scene. I don't give a damn about the financials.
I do. Hey, the more they make, the more likely they're going to make more of these kinds of things.
True.
And I want them to make more of these kinds of things.
The more likely other companies will make more of these.
I want Hollywood to regret shutting down animation things.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
We got anything else?
No, I'm really tired.
Somehow this has not been as long as I expected it to be with both of these and that, but I think mine was pretty popcorny.
This is not as
I
late
got
as I
through
was
mine
expecting.
really fast.
And this arcade is popcorn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's arcade. He's never that deep.
Yeah, speaking of popcorn, if you want to know how good Spider-Man was, I got popcorn and barely touched it.
Yeah, that's kind of the measure of a good movie. If it's really engrossing, you don't touch the popcorn.
That depends if you're not a eat the popcorn at the front of the movie person, though.
I'm not.
Fair. That's fair. But, normally...
I eat a lot of popcorn at the front and then I stop eating it.
My judge is...
Fill up my tummy.
My judge of good movies is, did the popcorn get eaten during? If not, that was a real good movie.
Oh, they also name-dropped Strange being a dumb fuck.
Yeah.
They are now...
They name-dropped the MCU several times, and they also specifically called it 199999.
Yeah, they are leaning on that.
Hell yes.
I kind of hope in Immortal Thor, Al Ewing brings that little thread back, because that's where that's from. It's from Loki.
199999.
Yes, the
I
Loki
thought it was
number.
that before that.
Yes, but that's where they got where they numbered the MCU.
That wasn't that in Spider-Man the Bad One?
I have no idea.
It was in Spider-Man the Bad One.
I was under the impression it was a Loki series that numbered it.
It came up in Spider-Man the Bad
Might
One,
have.
and then I think they reinforced it in Loki.
Well, Al Ewing has a chance to reinforce one of these.
If you're newer to the podcast, Spider-Man the Bad One is Spider-Man No Way From Home what is it? Far From Home.
Yes!
No.
It was Far From Home
Yeah.
that first called it 616.
Yeah.
And then in Loki, they said it again. Because, in Far From Home, it was something that we could easily write off because it was Mysterio
No, I'm
saying
talking about a Loki comic that numbered it 1999999999.
I don't know about
yes,
that.
it was one of the Loki things that was Thor side content, and when
Ew.
America Chavez was just leading the gang
Check
on
your
a thing.
timestamp, because I don't think that's right. I think that it was out of canon being called Earth 9999999 before that.
It might have been. But
We can check after
then it
we're
got
done.
added to the canon in a comic.
That I believe.
And that's where they even had movie studio stuff on.
But what I believe is that it was probably one of the official comics for it.
Yeah. What I believe is I want to be done recording.
Fair.
All right. Well, yeah, we got done quicker than expected, but it is still 2.5 hours into recording, so that's going to be it for us. We'll be back with you 2 weeks from now as we start down the chug down X-Men Mountain.
Oh God, we're approaching the disaster, aren't we?
Mayhaps they are.
The phones are on. Oh no!
You think that's what's up?
I mean, Ripley was literally doing a train thing. Ripley said the train has left the station.
I hadn't connected that with what we were talking about before. Oh shit, it's coming.
Don't worry, guys. We did maintenance on the train. It's fine.
Everything's fine. It's all gonna be good.
So
We're all fine here.
So if they died, it would have
We're
been...
all fine here.
So
How
if
are
they
you?
died, the train would have been off the station. It would have derailed. Nothing could have happened.
You just never would have left the station, I think.
Sometimes you die at the station. It happens.
Stop recording.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.